Beneath the vast, uncharted depths of our oceans, there are secrets older than civilization itself. Whispers from a time long forgotten, hidden beneath the crushing pressure of the sea. These are not the stories told in textbooks, nor the ones explained away by science. These are mysteries that defy reason, phenomena that even the most advanced technologies can scarcely begin to comprehend. What lies beneath the surface? Are we truly alone, or are we surrounded by echoes of ancient civilizations, alien artifacts, and creatures beyond imagination? From the eerie stillness of sunken cities to the strange, unidentifiable objects that seem to drift silently in the deep, the ocean teems with questions that science has yet to answer. In the coming hours, we will dive into the unexplained, uncovering the submerged anomalies that leave even the most brilliant minds puzzled. From the Kraken to the Bermuda Triangle, from lost ships to metallic orbs, these underwater phenomena will challenge everything we think we know about our world. So sit back, relax, and let's dive deeper into the mystery that lies beneath the waves. The Yucatan Peninsula, with its dense jungles and sprawling limestone plains, holds one of the most enigmatic and haunting landscapes on Earth. But beneath the verdant canopy, in a world unseen by most, lie subterranean labyrinths, hidden, forgotten caves that have drawn the curious, the adventurous, and the scientific community for centuries. These are not just natural formations. They are sacred, mysterious places where the past seems to linger in the silence of the stone, in the damp air, and in the dark waters that swirl through their ancient passages. Known as cenotes, these deep, crystal-clear sinkholes dot the landscape like portals to another realm. The cenotes are, in fact, the remnants of an immense underground river system that once flowed beneath the Yucatan. Over millennia, the erosion of limestone created intricate cave systems, some of which stretch for miles under the surface. Many of these caves remain largely unexplored, their depths still a mystery, their secrets buried in the shadows. One of the most extraordinary of these submerged caverns is the Sac Actun system, considered to be one of the longest underwater cave systems in the world. Its name, meaning white giant in the Mayan language, evokes the ethereal presence of the cave itself, vast, silent, and filled with the weight of untold history. It's here, in the waters of Sac Actun and its neighboring cenotes, where a story both ancient and unsettling begins to take shape. In the dark corners of these submerged caves, divers and archaeologists have made unsettling discoveries. Skeletal remains, some dating back thousands of years, lie undisturbed at the bottom of clear, dark pools. Human bones, some still in position as though the bodies were laid to rest in a ritualistic fashion, have been found scattered throughout the caves, suggesting that these waters were not merely a refuge or a tomb, but a sacred site for the ancient Maya. The findings tell a strange and unsettling story. Human sacrifices, offerings to the gods, and possibly even entire ceremonial rites performed deep within these caves. The Maya, deeply connected to the world around them and the gods they worshipped, believed that cenotes were portals to the underworld, Xibalba. The belief was that these sacred openings could connect the living to the realm of the gods and the spirits of the dead. Cenotes, in fact, were so revered that many Mayan cities were built around them, often with temples dedicated to their gods. But what is the significance of the human skeletons discovered in these waters? Why were they placed so carefully, and what do they tell us about the spiritual and religious practices of the ancient Maya? The bones found in the cenotes are often accompanied by offerings, ceramic pots, jewelry, and other items, suggesting that these were deliberate acts of devotion. The items seem to reflect both the wealth and the desperation of the people who made these offerings. Some of the bones belong to young children, others to the elderly or to those who appeared to have been of high social standing. Was this a sacrifice to appease the gods, to ask for rain, fertility, or protection from natural disasters? Or was it something more, something personal, an offering made in the hope of ensuring peace for the deceased's spirit in the afterlife? For centuries, scholars have debated the exact nature of these rituals. Most agree that the cenotes were seen as conduits to the gods, but there is no consensus on the specifics of the sacrifices. Some argue that the Maya used these caves as places to offer not just humans, but also precious materials, items that were believed to have a magical connection to the divine. Others suggest that these offerings were part of a larger cosmological framework, where the Maya understood the underworld as a place that needed to be regularly appeased, a realm that could exert influence over the living. Yet, even as we piece together these fragments of history, questions remain. Could the skeletal remains be more than mere offerings? Could they represent something deeper, something connected to the unknown, perhaps evidence of a lost tradition, or even a society far more complex than we've yet come to understand? Some researchers suggest that the high concentration of bones found in certain areas could indicate a mass ritual, an event where entire communities were brought together to participate in a ceremonial act meant to placate the gods during times of crisis. As with many mysteries in history, there are those who propose more speculative theories. Could these caves have been part of a larger network of sacred sites, forming a map of sorts that extended far beyond the Yucatan Peninsula? Was there perhaps a central priesthood or a class of religious leaders who moved between these sites, carrying out rituals that spanned generations? And if the Maya were so deeply connected to their world, did they believe that by placing these offerings in the caves, they were ensuring the very survival of their civilization? There are even more unusual theories, suggesting that the cenotes could have been used not just for ceremonial purposes, but for something far more mystical. Some believe the caves may have been seen as places of transcendence, where initiates could commune directly with the divine through ritualistic passage into the underworld. Could it be that the caves hold secrets about the Maya's understanding of death, the afterlife, or even the very nature of existence itself? The deeper you go into the cave systems, the more unsettling the discoveries become. The farther you venture into the chambers and tunnels, the more the boundaries between the known and the unknown seem to blur. What were these ancient peoples hoping to find, or to avoid, by descending into the heart of the earth? And in the clear, cool waters where these skeletons rest, what might still be waiting to be discovered? Even as modern technology allows us to explore these depths with greater precision, there are still vast, uncharted areas of the cenotes that remain out of reach. The underwater caves of Yucatan are far from fully mapped, and the mystery of why they were used as sacred burial grounds, if indeed they were, remains unsolved. There is so much we still don't know about the Maya and their connection to the caves. Could there be more chambers, more sacred objects, or even more remains hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be unearthed? The cenotes of the Yucatan may offer us glimpses into a world long past, but the full story of what occurred in these sacred waters is still shrouded in darkness, waiting to be uncovered, one discovery at a time. And so, as we continue to explore, the question remains: what secrets, lost to time, lie still in the shadows of these submerged caves, waiting to emerge once more? As we continue our descent into the depths of the unknown, we turn now to another puzzling and unsettling mystery, one that lies just off the sun-kissed shores of California. It is a mystery that has eluded definitive explanation, one that has captured the imaginations of both scientists and conspiracy theorists alike. The unidentified submerged object, USO, off the Malibu coast. In the clear, shimmering waters of the Pacific, just a few miles from the picturesque coastline of Malibu, An unusual anomaly has been detected by both sonar and eyewitness accounts. Unlike traditional submerged objects, such as shipwrecks or underwater debris, this one behaves in a manner that challenges our understanding of physics and the natural world. It does not simply rest on the ocean floor. It moves. It changes shape. It defies logic. For years, the object, seen on various sonar scans and described by those who have encountered it, has baffled experts and sparked debate over what exactly it is and where it came from. The first recorded sightings of the USO date back several decades. Divers working in the region have reported seeing strange, irregular shapes moving swiftly beneath the water, their edges glowing with an unnatural luminescence. Others have described hearing sounds unlike any they've encountered before. Low, rumbling vibrations that seem to emanate from the deep, as though the object is not merely a passive feature of the ocean, but an active presence. Yet, every attempt to bring the object into clearer focus through technology has yielded little more than murky data, offering up only more questions than answers. But it's not just sonar scans or eyewitness reports that fuel the mystery. The object has been detected by multiple sources: naval sonar equipment, private research vessels, even military-grade sensors. What they all seem to agree on is that this submerged entity moves in ways that are difficult, if not impossible, to replicate with known human technology. It has been tracked at remarkable speeds, far faster than the capabilities of any known submersible or marine vehicle. In some cases, it appears to almost disappear from one location and then reappear in another, as if it's traversing vast distances instantaneously. Scientists have offered a range of explanations for the phenomenon. Some suggest that it could be a large, undiscovered marine creature, a species that has eluded scientific documentation. The vastness of the ocean means that, despite centuries of exploration, there are still creatures lurking in the depths that remain unknown to science. Could this USO be a new form of life, perhaps with an unknown method of propulsion or a unique way of navigating the ocean's currents? After all, the ocean's depths are a dark and mysterious frontier, where light does not penetrate and even the most sophisticated submersibles struggle to make headway. However, the idea that this object is a creature, no matter how remarkable, doesn't explain the behaviors reported by witnesses, especially the ones that suggest an intelligence or purpose behind its movements. The patterns of its motion often appear too deliberate, too controlled, as if the object is responding to the environment in a way that organic life has not been shown to. Could it be something else entirely? Some have speculated that this submerged object might be of human origin, a lost military device or an experimental craft abandoned long ago. During the Cold War, the oceans were a prime location for secretive military tests, and many nations experimented with advanced submarine technology. Could this be a relic of a past military project, one that was never officially documented? If so, why would it still be operating? Or why would its movements seem so erratic? And if it is a human-made object, why has it not been identified after so many years of sonar scans and deep-sea exploration? Others, though, have taken a more unconventional view of the object. What if the USO is not a military experiment or an unknown marine species, but something far more enigmatic, something not of this Earth? Some have proposed that the object could be an alien craft, either monitoring Earth's oceans or using them as a hidden base. These theories are often dismissed by mainstream scientists, but they persist. After all, the ocean's depths are a vast, largely unexplored expanse, and the idea that extraterrestrial intelligence might choose such an environment for concealment isn't entirely beyond the realm of possibility. And then there's the idea that this USO could be something entirely different, a remnant of an ancient civilization hidden beneath the waves, either of terrestrial or even non-terrestrial origin. Some theories suggest that ancient, advanced societies once existed in harmony with the ocean's depths, using technology so advanced that it has become indistinguishable from myth. Could the object be a fragment of such a civilization's legacy, an artifact left behind by beings who vanished long ago? While most of these ideas remain speculative, there are a few facts that continue to fuel the fire of intrigue. For one, the Malibu area is not isolated in its unusual underwater phenomena. Around the world, there are numerous reports of unidentified submerged objects, from the coasts of Japan to the Mediterranean Sea. These reports share similar characteristics. The objects move in ways that seem impossible. They appear and disappear without warning, and they elude any clear explanation. While skeptics argue that these could simply be the result of misidentified marine life or equipment malfunctions, the consistency of these reports suggests that something more is at play. In addition to the USO off Malibu, other USOs have been linked to areas of mysterious geological formations and underwater topography, regions where the ocean floor rises in strange patterns, where odd underwater structures have been detected, and where ancient shipwrecks have been found in surprising locations. Could the USOs be connected to these underwater anomalies, perhaps drawn to them for reasons that are yet to be understood? Or could they be the result of forces within the Earth itself, geological phenomena that we have yet to fully comprehend? Whatever the true nature of the USO off Malibu, it is clear that we have only scratched the surface of this enigma. The more we learn about the ocean's depths, the more we realize how little we truly know. With advancements in technology, we are beginning to peer deeper into these dark, uncharted waters, but we are still far from unraveling the full extent of the mysteries that lie beneath the waves. What is the object that moves with such intelligence and purpose? And why does it continue to elude our understanding? The questions remain, and the answers, for now, stay just beyond our grasp. But one thing is certain: the ocean still holds secrets, vast, hidden, and waiting to be discovered. From the warm, clear waters of the Caribbean Sea, we now journey across the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean toward one of the most mysterious and foreboding regions on Earth, the Devil's Sea, also known as the Dragon's Triangle. Situated off the coast of Japan, this treacherous expanse has long been shrouded in myth, its reputation marred by a series of bizarre disappearances, strange phenomena, and unnerving events that have fueled the imaginations of sailors and scientists alike. Much like its more famous counterpart in the Atlantic, the Bermuda Triangle, the Dragon's Triangle has become the focus of countless investigations, yet remains an enigma. The Devil's Sea lies in the western Pacific, encompassing a vast stretch of water between the Japanese islands of Iwo Jima, the Bonin Islands, and the Mariana Trench, one of the deepest points on the planet. At first glance, it appears to be nothing more than a seemingly ordinary section of ocean, a region between two well-traveled sea routes. But beneath its surface, within its deep waters, something has always seemed to stir, a sense of something unseen waiting in the depths. The stories surrounding the Dragon's Triangle are as old as the sea itself. Local Japanese legends tell of a mystical dragon residing beneath the waves, a creature whose anger would cause storms and whirlpools to consume ships. This imagery of a dragon is not merely symbolic, but seems to have an uncanny resonance with the strange phenomena that have plagued this area for centuries. From sudden, violent storms to ships vanishing without a trace, the Devil's Sea has earned its dark reputation. Perhaps the most well-known of these mysteries is the disappearance of the American bomber squadron, Flight 19, which vanished during a training mission in the 1940s over the Bermuda Triangle. Though that incident is often linked to the Atlantic, similar disappearances have occurred in the Dragon's Triangle. Ships, aircraft, and even entire fleets have been reported missing in the region, often without so much as a distress signal or wreckage to explain their fate. One of the most eerie incidents involved the disappearance of the Japanese research vessel, Kiyomaru No. 5, which vanished in the 1950s. Despite extensive search efforts, no trace of the ship was ever found, leaving behind nothing but mystery. What makes these disappearances even more perplexing is the lack of clear or consistent explanations. While the Bermuda Triangle has often been explained by natural phenomena like magnetic anomalies or sudden storms, the Devil's Sea presents its own unique set of challenges. It's not merely the frequency of disappearances that intrigues scientists, but the peculiar nature of the events themselves. Aircraft that vanish seem to have been completely swallowed up, leaving no trace of wreckage or survivors. Similarly, ships disappear with no signs of distress, and often, weather reports show no unusual storms or conditions in the area. It's as though something is erasing them from existence, an invisible force that leaves nothing behind. One explanation offered by scientists is the presence of underwater volcanic activity in the region. The Pacific is home to a highly active ring of fire, and the ocean floor beneath the Devil's Sea is littered with underwater volcanoes and deep fissures. Could it be that sudden volcanic eruptions or methane gas releases could cause ships to sink or planes to fall from the sky? Such eruptions, though rare, are known to cause temporary disruptions in the air or water, creating sudden and violent conditions that could explain some of the vanishings. Yet, these explanations fail to account for the frequency and randomness of the disappearances. Some have suggested the presence of rogue waves, massive, unpredictable waves that can rise up to 30 meters in height without warning. These waves, formed by sudden changes in weather or ocean currents, have been known to engulf even the largest of ships. However, even with this possibility, the events in the Devil's Sea seem to stretch the boundaries of natural explanations. Perhaps the most intriguing and unsettling possibility is that the Devil's Sea harbors magnetic anomalies similar to those reported in the Bermuda Triangle. Reports from pilots flying over the region have suggested that their navigational instruments go haywire as they approach the area, as if the Earth's magnetic field is behaving in an erratic, unpredictable way. Could these disturbances cause navigational errors, leading vessels and aircraft into perilous situations? Some researchers have speculated that there might be an unknown magnetic dead zone under the sea, where instruments are affected by unseen forces, steering planes and ships off course. And yet, despite these more plausible theories, there are still elements of the Devil's Sea that refuse to conform to logical explanation. One theory that has gained some attention is the idea that the region is a portal of sorts, a space where the boundaries between dimensions blur. In this theory, the disappearances are not the result of sudden, violent events, but the result of ships and aircraft crossing into another dimension entirely. This idea is more speculative, but it echoes the strange events that have occurred in the region. If the Dragon's Triangle were indeed some kind of portal, could it explain why certain ships and planes appear to vanish, only to be replaced by nothing? No wreckage, no remains? Another, more fringe theory is that the Devil's Sea could be the site of an ancient underwater civilization, possibly connected to the mythical lost city of Atlantis. Some proponents of this idea suggest that the disappearances are related to ancient technology or forces that still operate beneath the surface of the sea. Could there be a civilization's remnants buried in the deepest parts of the ocean, causing strange disruptions to those who venture too close? Though this theory lacks concrete evidence, it adds another layer to the growing mystery of the Dragon's Triangle. The truth, as always, is elusive, and the Devil's Sea remains one of the world's most unsettling and unexplained locations. We may never fully understand why ships and aircraft continue to vanish without a trace in this area, or why the forces at play seem so impossible to grasp. The combination of natural forces, storms, volcanic activity, and rogue waves along with the possibility of magnetic anomalies or even something more fantastical, leaves us with more questions than answers. Could it be that there is something in the deep waters of the Dragon's Triangle that we have yet to discover? Perhaps some natural force, some ancient phenomenon, is at work in the region, and until we gain a deeper understanding of the ocean's hidden realms, the Devil's Sea will remain a place of endless mystery. What truths lie beneath these dark waters, waiting for us to uncover? Only time and further exploration will tell. As we leave behind the Devil's Sea and the strange disappearances that have captivated the world for decades, our journey takes us even deeper, into the heart of the ocean's darkest depths, where a legend, long thought to be the product of myth, still stirs with the promise of an unimaginable truth. For centuries, sailors have spoken in hushed tones about a creature so terrifying, so incomprehensible, that it transcends the boundary between reality and folklore. They called it the Kraken, a giant, tentacled beast of the deep, capable of dragging entire ships and their crews to a watery grave. The Kraken myth, originating in Scandinavian folklore, has haunted the minds of seafarers for generations. Descriptions of the creature vary. Some speak of a gargantuan octopus-like beast, while others describe a squid with limbs powerful enough to crush a ship's hull. The Kraken was said to dwell in the cold waters off the coast of Norway and Greenland, emerging from the ocean depths only to strike at the most unsuspecting of vessels. Some accounts claimed it could create whirlpools so violent that entire ships were swallowed whole, while others spoke of its enormous size, with tentacles stretching hundreds of feet into the water. But was it just a legend? A tale spun to explain the inexplicable? An ancient seafarer's attempt to make sense of the dangers of the open sea? Or was there more to the Kraken than myth? In recent years, a curious pattern has begun to emerge, one that, while far from conclusive, has caused scientists to take a second look at the age-old legend. Deep-sea exploration, aided by advances in technology like submersibles and sonar, has allowed researchers to reach depths of the ocean that were once unreachable, revealing a world beyond imagination. In this world, creatures of unimaginable size and form exist, many of which remain poorly understood. It's in these very depths that evidence of colossal marine life, seemingly straight out of Kraken folklore, has begun to surface. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence comes from the discovery of giant squids in deep ocean trenches. These mysterious creatures, once thought to be mere myth themselves, are now known to grow to lengths of up to 43 feet. They possess enormous eyes, capable of detecting light at the extreme depths they inhabit. Some researchers believe these creatures could be the inspiration for the Kraken myth, with sailors mistaking sightings of these colossal, tentacled beings for the legendary beast of lore. However, while giant squids certainly match the description of the Kraken in some ways, there are aspects of the legend that they do not. Most notably, the stories of the Kraken dragging entire ships beneath the waves. Yet, when we dig deeper into the accounts from sailors who claimed to have encountered the Kraken, we find some eerie details that suggest these stories may not be entirely unfounded. In 1853, a Norwegian sailor by the name of Sven Ogge reported an encounter with a creature that resembled the Kraken. According to his account, his ship was caught in a violent storm when a massive sea creature, with tentacles as thick as a ship's mast, rose from the depths. The creature lashed out at the ship, causing waves that seemed to come from nowhere, before sinking beneath the surface. Though Ogge's story was dismissed by many at the time, it bears striking similarities to modern reports of unusual marine events, and his description of the creature is remarkably consistent with the accounts of sailors centuries prior. Then, in 2004, a remarkable discovery was made off the coast of Antarctica. A colossal squid was caught on film by a deep-sea submersible, showcasing a creature whose size and behavior matched that of the Kraken's mythical description. The footage revealed a squid larger than anything scientists had previously documented, its tentacles stretching out like the limbs of a monster from another world. It wasn't quite the Kraken itself, but it was clear that something very large and very real was living in the depths, far from the prying eyes of humans. The video raised more questions than answers. How much larger might these creatures grow in the deepest trenches of the ocean? Could there be even larger squid species, yet to be discovered, lurking in regions of the sea that are still largely unexplored? Beyond squid and octopuses, there are other creatures that fuel the speculation around the Kraken. Giant jellyfish, some of which can grow to sizes larger than a car, have also been spotted in deep waters. These gelatinous behemoths possess tentacles capable of stinging and potentially incapacitating prey. While they may not resemble the Kraken directly, their sheer size and the mysterious nature of their existence in the deep sea point to the possibility of life forms that remain hidden, unknown, and beyond our comprehension. Yet, despite these findings, the Kraken remains a shadow, a tantalizing glimpse into a world that is still largely beyond our grasp. Why do these creatures remain so elusive? Why, in an age of unprecedented exploration and technological advancements, does the sea continue to hold so many secrets? For all the evidence of massive creatures like giant squid, and for all the intriguing stories that span centuries, there is still no definitive proof that the Kraken exists as the legends describe it. And perhaps, more perplexing still, is the question, if such creatures do exist, why have they remained hidden for so long? Some theories suggest that these elusive deep-sea giants may have developed highly sophisticated survival mechanisms. The deep ocean is an environment so hostile to life that many creatures living there are almost unrecognizable to us. Adaptations like bioluminescence, extreme camouflage, and even the ability to survive under crushing pressure may make these creatures nearly invisible to human technology. The Kraken, if it were real, might have evolved in such a way that it could evade detection, lurking in the darkest, most remote regions of the ocean, appearing only when the time is right. Others speculate that the Kraken myth may be a blending of truth and folklore, a cultural archetype shaped by the very real dangers of the deep sea. Could the terrifying stories of the Kraken have been inspired by encounters with animals like giant squids, whose tentacles might have been mistaken for something far more sinister in the dim light of the ocean? Or perhaps the Kraken, in some form, is still out there, waiting for the right moment to emerge from the depths. After all, we've only begun to scratch the surface of the ocean's mysteries. The more we learn about the ocean's most elusive and monstrous creatures, the more questions we have. The Kraken may have been a myth born of sailors' fears, but the evidence of enormous tentacled creatures in the deep sea suggests that the line between myth and reality may not be as clear as we once believed. What other mysteries are waiting to be uncovered in the darkest reaches of the ocean? Could there be creatures still undiscovered, lurking in the depths, waiting for the moment when they might once again surface? Just as the Kraken did in the minds of those who dared venture too close to the edge of the world? The answers are hidden in the unexplored, the unknown, and the deeply mysterious waters of the ocean's depths, where even the greatest of legends might yet find their truth. As we drift from the depths of the ocean to the more familiar waters of North America, we find ourselves at the edge of one of the most puzzling maritime mysteries on the planet, the Lake Michigan Triangle. Tucked within the Great Lakes region of the United States, this area, with its seemingly tranquil waters and picturesque shoreline, has been the site of unexplained disappearances, strange phenomena, and unsettling events for centuries. While the Bermuda Triangle and Dragon's Triangle have captured global attention, the Lake Michigan Triangle remains one of the most perplexing and lesser-known maritime anomalies. But could it be that the waters of this inland sea hide secrets just as deep and mysterious as those found in the vast oceans? The Lake Michigan Triangle forms a rough equilateral triangle with its points connecting Manitowoc, Ludington, and Chicago. From a distance, the lake appears serene, its waters stretching out as far as the eye can see, flanked by the rolling hills of Wisconsin and Michigan, the skyline of Chicago rising in the distance. But beneath the calm surface, something strange lurks. Since the mid-19th century, ships, planes, and even entire crews have vanished without a trace, leaving behind no explanation, no remains, just an eerie silence. Like a hidden force, the lake seems to swallow up whatever dares to venture too close, leaving only questions behind. Perhaps one of the most famous incidents occurred in 1950 when a commercial flight, Northwest Airlines Flight 2501, disappeared while traveling from New York to the city of Seattle. The plane, carrying 58 people, was flying over Lake Michigan when radio contact was suddenly lost. A massive search ensued, but no wreckage, no debris, no survivors were ever found. Despite exhaustive efforts to locate the plane, the flight's disappearance remains one of the most baffling unsolved cases in aviation history. Some claim that the disappearance occurred in the heart of the Lake Michigan Triangle, further cementing its reputation as a zone of mystery. Yet, no conclusive explanation has ever been provided for why the aircraft fell from the sky or where it went after it vanished. But disappearances in the Lake Michigan Triangle aren't limited to just planes. Over the decades, the waters of the lake have swallowed up ships, most notably the SS Badger, a ferry that sank under suspicious circumstances in 1924. Though the wreckage of the ship was eventually recovered, its loss was shrouded in mystery. The official cause was deemed to be a fire that broke out on board, but many have questioned whether it was truly an accident or something more inexplicable at work. One of the most curious features of the Lake Michigan Triangle is the consistent lack of wreckage found after these disappearances. Unlike typical maritime disasters, where the remains of vessels or planes are often found after an accident, in the Lake Michigan Triangle, even the most thorough searches have yielded little to no physical evidence. Was this the result of extreme weather conditions, perhaps a storm that could carry debris away? Or is there something more strange at work beneath the surface? Reports of unusual weather patterns also raise intriguing questions about the anomalies in this area. The triangle has been known to produce sudden, intense storms, whirlpools and towering waves that can rise without warning, resembling more the unpredictable nature of the Bermuda Triangle than the calm nature one might expect from a freshwater lake. These storms are often said to appear with little or no forewarning, catching ships and aircraft off guard and leaving them stranded in the middle of violent, swirling waters. Could the weather systems in this region create conditions so extreme that they're capable of consuming even the most well-prepared vessels? Still, the theories surrounding the Lake Michigan Triangle extend beyond just strange weather and unexplained disappearances. One speculative theory involves magnetic anomalies similar to those reported in the Bermuda Triangle. Could there be areas within the lake that possess strong magnetic fields, distorting navigation systems and causing equipment to malfunction? Pilots have reported strange readings on their instruments when flying over the area, suggesting that the navigational equipment may be compromised by something beneath the surface. Are these disturbances merely a quirk of the Earth's natural magnetic fields? Or could there be something hidden under the water, something powerful enough to interfere with technology? Some have even wondered if the mysterious disappearances in the Lake Michigan Triangle might be linked to underwater geological features, such as deep trenches or dormant fault lines that could cause sudden underwater disturbances. The Great Lakes, while seemingly calm and contained, are not immune to seismic activity. Could sudden shifts in the lake's floor cause extreme turbulence, swallowing ships and planes in the blink of an eye? Then there are the more fringe theories, the whispers of paranormal activity that have circled the Lake Michigan Triangle for decades. Some local legends suggest that the area is cursed, or that it is home to ancient spirits, believed to be the restless souls of the Native American tribes who once inhabited the region. Others have speculated that the triangle could be a portal to another world, with objects and people slipping through to another dimension, leaving no trace behind. Though these ideas remain speculative, they add a layer of intrigue to an already puzzling mystery, suggesting that perhaps the explanation for these disappearances is not one that can be easily understood by science alone. In many ways, the Lake Michigan Triangle reflects the kind of mysteries that science has yet to fully unravel, phenomena that don't fit neatly into our understanding of the natural world. It is an area where logic and explanation collide with the unexplained, where the human desire to make sense of the unknown continues to struggle against the forces of the world's most baffling anomalies. Perhaps in the end, the mystery of the Lake Michigan Triangle lies in its ability to resist resolution. Despite decades of research, modern technology, and countless investigations, the disappearances continue to elude explanation. Could there be something lurking just below the surface, hidden from our eyes and our understanding? Could the Lake Michigan Triangle be a region where the boundaries between the natural and the supernatural blur, where the sea, quiet on the surface, holds secrets that are yet to be discovered? The waters of Lake Michigan may be still and calm for most of the year, but within the triangle, they harbor a darker, more inexplicable truth. What lies beneath the surface of this inland sea remains as elusive as ever. Until we uncover what truly exists in the heart of the Lake Michigan Triangle, the mystery will continue to haunt the waters, waiting for the next ship, plane, or soul to disappear into the unknown. The cold, clear waters of Lake Baikal stretch out beneath a snow-covered landscape in Siberia, the oldest and deepest freshwater lake on Earth. With depths reaching over 5,300 feet, Baikal is home to an ecosystem unlike any other, teeming with unique species that exist nowhere else on the planet. Its remote location, nestled in a vast expanse of untouched wilderness, has earned it the title of the Pearl of Siberia. But beneath its seemingly tranquil surface lies a mystery that has baffled researchers and explorers for decades. In 1982, a group of divers from the Soviet Union, engaged in a routine scientific exploration of the lake's deepest waters, encountered something that would change their understanding of what was lurking beneath the surface. As the divers descended into the murky, uncharted depths, they reported seeing something they could neither explain nor comprehend: an unidentified humanoid figure. The creature, described as pale, almost translucent, with elongated limbs and an unnatural, disjointed gait, was observed moving gracefully through the water, seemingly unaffected by the pressure and cold of the depths. The encounter, though fleeting, was enough to leave the divers shaken and perplexed. The diver who made the most detailed account of the encounter described the humanoid as having large, unblinking eyes and a head that appeared slightly larger than a human's, with no visible facial features except for its eyes. The figure was moving with an elegance that defied the crushing weight of the water around them, and the divers noticed that it seemed to disappear into the shadows of the lake without a trace, as if it had never existed at all. After the incident, the team reported the event to their superiors, but the encounter was quickly downplayed and dismissed as a product of hallucinations or equipment malfunction. Nonetheless, the stories of this mysterious underwater humanoid have persisted, growing into one of the most perplexing and unexplained mysteries of the lake. Lake Baikal, after all, is no stranger to the bizarre. The waters of this ancient lake are believed to be over 25 million years old, making it not only the oldest, but also the deepest and most isolated freshwater lake in the world. With such an environment, it's not hard to imagine that strange, previously unknown creatures could still inhabit its murky depths. But could something as complex and humanoid as the creature described by the divers really exist here? And if so, what does that imply about the nature of the lake's ecosystem? The encounter at Lake Baikal was not an isolated incident. Over the years, there have been multiple reports of unexplained phenomena in and around the lake, some of which suggest that the waters hold secrets far beyond our current understanding of biology. Numerous scientific expeditions have attempted to map the lake's deepest points, and although many species of unusual fish, insects, and microorganisms have been cataloged, there remain large sections of the lake that are still unexplored, largely due to the treacherous nature of its depths. Some scientists speculate that we may yet discover creatures and organisms so alien to our understanding of life that they challenge the very definitions of what we consider possible. In more recent years, additional reports have surfaced from both locals and visitors to the area, describing sightings of strange humanoid figures near the lake's shores. These reports, however, are anecdotal and inconsistent, often blending the line between myth and reality. Some claim to have seen the same eerie figures described by the divers, while others speak of strange lights or unexplained movements in the water, often accompanied by a sense of unease or even dread. Is there a connection between these sightings and the original encounter by the divers? Or is it possible that something entirely different is at play, something that lies at the intersection of the known and the unknown? The theories surrounding these encounters range from the scientifically plausible to the highly speculative. One of the more conventional explanations suggests that what the divers and others might have seen were simply known aquatic creatures, misidentified under the pressure of deep-sea diving. Giant squid, for example, are known to inhabit deep waters across the globe, and their movements, often erratic and ghostly, could easily be mistaken for something more humanoid. Could the divers have encountered a large cephalopod, or perhaps an unknown species of fish that, due to the pressure and distortion at those depths, gave the illusion of a humanoid figure? This explanation, while plausible, fails to account for the reported features of the figure, such as its translucency, its large human-like eyes, and its apparent intelligence and purposefulness. Other theories delve into more fringe explanations. Some have speculated that the humanoid creature could be the product of a forgotten civilization, one that either lived in or around Lake Baikal thousands of years ago. Could there be remnants of an ancient people who, through isolation, evolved in such a way that they adapted to life in the extreme depths of the lake? This idea ties into more fantastical theories, such as the existence of underwater civilizations or extraterrestrial life forms that have somehow found their way to Earth's oceans, adapting to the harsh underwater environment. Another theory proposes that the lake could be the site of a portal, an entrance to another dimension or parallel reality. Could the humanoid figures that have been seen near the lake or underwater be travelers from another world, existing on a different plane of reality that intersects with ours at Lake Baikal? This idea has been fueled by the strange electromagnetic anomalies that have been recorded in the region. Some believe that these disturbances may be linked to the mysterious encounters and the unusual behavior of the creatures spotted in the water. Still, the most unsettling question remains. If the humanoid figures in Lake Baikal are not mere figments of imagination or misidentified creatures, what exactly are they? Could they be remnants of a forgotten age, creatures that have been adapting and surviving in the lake's depths for millennia? Or are they something entirely new, a discovery waiting to be made that could completely alter our understanding of the natural world? The mystery of the Lake Baikal humanoids is far from solved, and the lake's murky depths continue to hold their secrets tight. As scientists continue to study the lake's ecosystem, the question of what truly lies beneath remains unanswered. Whether the creatures reported by the divers were real or simply a product of human perception, Lake Baikal remains an enigma, a place where the line between the known and the unknown is perpetually blurred, waiting for the next breakthrough or discovery to bring us closer to understanding what exists in the depths of this ancient, mysterious lake. As the sun began to set over the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean, just off the coast of Florida, 5 Navy bombers took to the skies, preparing for a routine training exercise. The date was December 5, 1945, and the aircraft in question, known as Flight 19, was composed of 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers under the command of Lieutenant Charles Taylor. These planes, part of a training mission designed to practice bombing runs and navigation, were nothing out of the ordinary. But what would transpire that day, over the course of several hours, would soon become one of the most famous disappearances in aviation history. A disappearance that still defies explanation to this day. The mission began like any other. However, within hours, things started to go awry. As Flight 19 flew deeper into the Bermuda Triangle, a region infamous for its strange and unexplained phenomena, Lieutenant Taylor began reporting confusion with his navigation instruments, insisting that his compasses were malfunctioning and that he was unable to determine their exact location. Soon, all 5 planes became disoriented, their pilots unable to find their way back to base. But what makes this incident so perplexing, and what pushes it into the realm of the mysterious, is not just the disorientation, but what happened next. At some point, communication with Flight 19 was lost. One of the last radio messages transmitted from the group suggested that they were heading out to sea, unsure of their position, and with fuel running dangerously low. And then, just as suddenly as they had appeared on the radar, the planes vanished. Despite a massive search operation by the U.S. Navy, not a single trace of the bombers, nor the men aboard, was ever found. There were no wreckage sightings, no bodies recovered, and no definitive cause identified for their disappearance. It was as if Flight 19 had been swallowed whole by the sea itself. This event, occurring within the confines of the Bermuda Triangle, quickly became enmeshed in the myths and legends that surround the region. The Triangle, infamous for a number of other mysterious disappearances, has long been the subject of speculation and intrigue. The mystery of Flight 19 is often cited as one of the defining incidents of this strange area of the world, a case that still remains unsolved. But was the disappearance of Flight 19 truly the result of the Bermuda Triangle's reputation, or is there more to the story that has yet to be uncovered? At first glance, it might seem like a straightforward aviation accident. Pilots lost in a vast ocean with poor visibility, an unfamiliar and disorienting environment, and equipment failure. Indeed, experts have suggested that navigational errors might have played a significant role in the plane's confusion, especially considering that Lieutenant Taylor, a seasoned pilot, had reportedly experienced some anxiety earlier in the day about the flight's conditions. Some believe that pilot error, coupled with the inexperienced nature of the other pilots in the squadron, led to a series of miscalculations that caused the planes to veer off course, heading further into the Atlantic Ocean and eventually running out of fuel. This explanation, while plausible, fails to account for the disappearance itself, where the planes went, why no wreckage was found, and how all 5 planes vanished without a trace. The Bermuda Triangle theory, which quickly emerged following the event, posits that Flight 19 was the latest casualty of a mysterious force that seems to take hold of this area of the ocean. Known for its unpredictable weather patterns, electromagnetic anomalies, and stories of vanishing ships and aircraft, the Bermuda Triangle has long been associated with strange disappearances. Some suggest that these events are the result of sudden, violent weather changes, or that the area's unique atmospheric conditions could have caused the planes to fly off course and crash. Others believe that the electromagnetic disturbances in the Bermuda Triangle could have disrupted the pilot's navigational equipment, leading them to become lost. But even with these explanations, Flight 19's disappearance still feels incomplete. Theories of magnetic anomalies, the idea that a unique combination of magnetic fields distorts compasses and makes navigation incredibly difficult, have been suggested to explain the baffling disorientation experienced by Lieutenant Taylor and his crew. However, such disturbances would not entirely explain why none of the wreckage or remains from the planes were ever found. Surely, if the planes had crashed somewhere within the Bermuda Triangle, there would be some remnants, some trace of the event. Yet no debris was ever recovered. In the years that followed, more fringe theories emerged, many involving more speculative and at times outlandish explanations. Some have suggested that the planes were caught in a time warp or interdimensional rift, possibly opening a doorway to another time or place. In this view, the Bermuda Triangle would act as a portal where objects and people can be transported to another dimension, never to return. Others have entertained the idea of extraterrestrial involvement, speculating that Flight 19's disappearance was the result of an alien encounter, an event orchestrated by beings from outside our planet. These ideas, though unprovable, continue to circulate, feeding into the larger mystery of the Bermuda Triangle. Yet, even with all the speculation, the most straightforward theory, the one grounded in reality, is the simplest. Flight 19's disappearance may have been the result of a tragic series of errors, a failure to navigate properly, compounded by a lack of experience, poor weather conditions, and malfunctioning equipment. But even if this is the case, why were the planes not found? Why, after an extensive search effort, did the sea yield no answers? Perhaps the answer lies somewhere between the scientific and the unexplained, a mixture of human error, natural forces, and perhaps even a place in the world where the mysteries of the earth, the sea, and the skies collide in unexpected ways. The disappearance of Flight 19 remains one of the most haunting and unresolved stories in aviation history, a tale that spans both the known and the unknown. Despite decades of investigation and analysis, the disappearance of Flight 19 still invites more questions than answers. Was it a product of the Bermuda Triangle's bizarre phenomena, or simply the result of human error and unfortunate circumstances? As we continue to study the case, one thing remains clear. The mysteries of this area are far from over. What happened to Flight 19, and why it remains one of the Bermuda Triangle's greatest puzzles, continues to be a mystery, one that may never be fully solved, but will forever intrigue those who seek answers hidden beneath the surface of the sea. The cold waters of the North Atlantic are not kind to those who venture into their depths. Yet it is there, 8,400 feet below the surface, where one of the greatest mysteries in naval history unfolded, the disappearance of the USS Thresher. On April 10, 1963, the nuclear-powered submarine was conducting a routine dive off the coast of Cape Cod, Massachusetts. It was a mission designed to test the submarine's capabilities in deep-water operations, but what was meant to be a routine exercise quickly turned into a disaster that would leave the world questioning what exactly happened that fateful day. The USS Thresher was no ordinary submarine. As one of the most advanced nuclear-powered submarines in the world at the time, it represented the cutting edge of military technology. She was equipped with the most sophisticated systems and was part of a new class of submarines that were expected to play a pivotal role in Cold War strategy. At over 300 feet long and weighing more than 3,000 tons, the Thresher was a symbol of American maritime strength, capable of reaching depths that had never before been possible for submarines. On that day in April, the USS Thresher was conducting a series of tests at a depth of 1,300 feet, well within the range of her capabilities. The plan was simple: to check the systems that would allow the submarine to dive deeper and stay submerged for longer periods. The crew, composed of 129 men, sailors, engineers, and civilians, had no reason to expect anything out of the ordinary. But what happened in the moments following their final transmission would set the stage for one of the most tragic and inexplicable losses in naval history. Just after 9 a.m., the Thresher made its final communication. A garbled message from the crew indicated that they were experiencing difficulties, but nothing that suggested immediate danger. The last audible transmission came from the submarine's commander, Captain John W. Harvey, who stated, "Take her down to test depth." These were the last words heard from the Thresher. Within moments, all communications were lost. A massive search and rescue operation was immediately launched. Ships, planes, and submarines scoured the area for any signs of wreckage, but nothing was found. Days passed, and as the search continued, it became clear that the USS Thresher had vanished, seemingly without a trace. The ocean had claimed the submarine, taking its crew with it, leaving only questions behind. Then, weeks later, a piece of debris, a small section of pipe, was found floating near the site where the Thresher was last heard from. It was not much, but it was enough to suggest that the submarine had indeed descended into the abyss. In the years that followed, investigators uncovered more evidence, piecing together fragments of information from sonar scans, crew testimonies, and mechanical failure analysis. The official explanation for the loss of the USS Thresher, given by the Naval Court of Inquiry, suggested that a malfunctioning pipe, specifically a burst seal in the submarine's hydraulic system, led to the flooding of vital machinery compartments. The flooding likely disabled the Thresher's ability to maintain its depth, leading to a loss of control. The official cause of the disaster was the failure of a valve, which allowed the submarine to flood and eventually lose its ability to surface. Once the Thresher reached an uncontrollable depth, the submarine imploded under the immense pressure of the water, killing everyone aboard. This explanation, though logical in many ways, left many questions unanswered. Despite extensive investigations, certain aspects of the disaster remained unclear. How could a vital mechanical failure go unnoticed during routine checks? How could something so critical as a malfunctioning valve have escaped the attention of the crew, many of whom were highly trained and experienced? Moreover, there were anomalies that seemed to contradict the official narrative. For one, no wreckage from the Thresher was found immediately after the sinking, which seemed strange given the size of the submarine. In fact, it wasn't until 5 months later that the wreckage was discovered, at a depth of 8,400 feet, well beyond the operational depth of the Thresher. The submarine had been sitting at the bottom of the ocean for months, with no signs of any surface-level debris, no oil slick, no floating objects, and no wreckage of any kind. This raised suspicions that something else might have been at play. Was the submarine really destroyed by a mechanical failure? Or could there have been another force at work? Some have speculated that the Thresher was the victim of sabotage, either from an external force or from within. Could the Soviet Union, the primary Cold War adversary, have somehow been responsible for an act of deliberate destruction? While there is no concrete evidence to support this theory, the idea that the Thresher was brought down by a deliberate attack has been a point of speculation for some who believe that Cold War tensions might have played a role in its disappearance. Others have suggested more unconventional explanations, including the idea that the submarine's disappearance was linked to government secrecy. Some have pointed to the possibility that the Thresher was involved in highly classified operations, and that the official investigation may have been influenced by the desire to cover up a much larger secret. Could the Thresher have been testing something far beyond ordinary submarine technology? Some conspiracy theorists suggest that the submarine may have been involved in secret experiments related to nuclear weapons or other cutting-edge military technology, and that the official story was altered to protect sensitive information. Perhaps the most unsettling question, though, is one that remains unanswered. What happened to the crew? Were they aware of the impending disaster? Did they suffer before the implosion? or were they instantaneously killed by the immense pressure of the ocean depths? The Thresher's final moments remain a matter of speculation, with no survivors to offer first-hand accounts of the events that led up to the catastrophic end. The disappearance of the USS Thresher remains an ongoing mystery, one that continues to resonate decades after the event. Despite the official explanation, the questions surrounding the submarine's loss remain as deep and impenetrable as the waters that claimed it. Was it simply a tragic mechanical failure, or is there something more lurking beneath the surface, something that we may never fully understand? As the years pass, the mystery of the Thresher continues to haunt the world, and the truth, it seems, may be lost forever in the depths of the North Atlantic. The waters of the Barents Sea, off the coast of Russia, are known for their icy depths and unforgiving temperatures. Yet it was here, in the frigid heart of the Arctic, that one of the most haunting maritime disasters of the 21st century unfolded: the tragic loss of the Russian nuclear submarine Kursk. On the 12th of August, 2000, the Kursk, a Oscar II-class submarine, was engaged in a routine exercise carrying out a series of military drills with other vessels of the Russian Northern Fleet. The submarine, powered by 2 nuclear reactors and equipped with an array of state-of-the-art weaponry, had been a symbol of Russia's formidable naval strength. The crew, 118 men strong, had trained rigorously for this mission, prepared for the rigors of undersea warfare. But on that fateful day, the Kursk would never return to the surface. Just hours after beginning its training exercise, an explosion tore through the submarine. The force was so intense that it was detected by seismographs in Norway and Finland. Initial reports were vague, but what followed was a mounting sense of dread as the world's attention turned to the frozen waters where the Kursk had last been seen. Survivors would never be found. All aboard were lost. The Russian government initially claimed that a gas leak or a malfunction in the submarine's equipment was to blame for the explosion. But as the days passed and more information emerged, the mystery deepened. 2 massive explosions were reported, with the second being so powerful that it sent shockwaves across the entire fleet. How could something so catastrophic happen so suddenly in one of the most advanced vessels in the world? As international search efforts began, the reality of the disaster became increasingly clear. The submarine had sunk to a depth of 350 feet, with no sign of distress until after the first explosion. Despite a rescue operation involving multiple countries, it was clear that the Kursk was beyond reach, and the depths of the Barents Sea held the key to what had happened. At first, Russia's response to the disaster was one of denial and secrecy. The Russian government hesitated to allow foreign help, choosing instead to launch an ill-fated and ultimately fruitless attempt to raise the submarine on their own. For nearly a week, the world waited for updates, while the Russian people struggled to comprehend the scale of the loss. Rumors began to circulate. Was the Kursk's disappearance the result of a catastrophic failure of its internal systems? Or was there something far more sinister at play? The truth slowly began to unravel, though it was often buried beneath a veil of official silence and contradictory reports. The Russian Navy's eventual admission that the explosion had been caused by a torpedo malfunction raised more questions than answers. According to official statements, one of the submarine's torpedoes had exploded in the forward section of the vessel, triggering a chain reaction that led to the loss of the ship. The cause of the torpedo malfunction was never definitively explained, but the mystery didn't stop there. As the wreckage of the Kursk was eventually retrieved from the seabed, new details emerged. The submariners had sent distress signals immediately after the explosion. In the hours that followed, it appeared that some of the crew had managed to survive the initial blast and had even taken refuge in a more protected section of the submarine, in the hopes of escaping the impending second explosion that would eventually claim them all. The timing of the explosions raised more questions. The second, far more powerful detonation occurred nearly 2 hours after the initial blast, suggesting that something, possibly an intentional destruction mechanism, had taken place within the submarine. Why was there such a long delay between the two explosions? Could it have been caused by delayed detonation mechanisms within the torpedoes themselves, or were there other factors at play? Even more mysterious was the discovery that, despite the extensive recovery efforts, some sections of the Kursk remained sealed off, and several crucial pieces of equipment had gone missing. These anomalies, combined with the troubling inconsistencies in the official narrative, led many to speculate that the Kursk disaster could have been more than just a simple technical failure. Some have proposed that the Kursk's torpedoes had been armed with highly sensitive warheads, potentially even carrying nuclear weapons. Did a malfunction trigger a series of events that ultimately led to the second explosion? Or was there another, more covert explanation? Could the Kursk have been engaged in an operation too secretive for the world to ever know the truth about? In the years following the incident, whispers of possible sabotage, espionage, and even international political intrigue have surfaced. Some argue that the disaster may have been the result of a military incident that the Russian government sought to cover up, perhaps even involving a foreign power. Theories have pointed to the possibility that an accident during a covert operation went terribly wrong, resulting in an explosion far beyond the scope of what could have been caused by a simple malfunction. Yet, to this day, no definitive explanation has surfaced that conclusively clears up the confusion surrounding the Kursk disaster. Despite the release of some official reports and the recovery of the submarine, there remain more questions than answers. Why did it take so long for the Russian Navy to allow international help? Why were certain aspects of the submarine's design never fully disclosed? Was there something undisclosed about the Kursk's mission at the time? Could there have been a cover-up to protect sensitive information about the vessel's cargo, its mission, or even its crew? The Kursk disaster, with its mix of tragedy, secrecy, and political complexity, remains one of the most perplexing maritime mysteries of modern history. The official explanations have been met with skepticism, while alternate theories continue to circulate, as murky and impenetrable as the icy waters of the Barents Sea. And so, the story of the Kursk continues to be a story of secrets. Secrets buried beneath the waves. Secrets locked inside the depths of a submarine that the world may never fully understand. What really happened in the hours leading up to the explosions? Was the disaster truly an accident, or was there something darker at play? The truth may never be fully known, but the story, much like the wreckage of the Kursk, remains submerged in the depths, waiting for answers. Beneath the tranquil waters of the Truk Lagoon in the South Pacific lies an eerie and haunting reminder of a war long past. The lagoon, now known as Chuk Lagoon, once served as a strategic stronghold for the Imperial Japanese Navy during World War II. Today, it harbors a ghostly fleet, a submerged fleet of sunken ships and planes, their rusted hulls and broken wings scattered across the seabed. This place has come to be known as the Ghost Fleet of Truk Lagoon, a submerged cemetery that holds secrets, stories, and mysteries yet to be fully understood. The lagoon itself is a vast expanse of blue-green water, surrounded by a collection of small islands, each one lush with tropical vegetation. At first glance, it appears peaceful, serene, almost idyllic, a stark contrast to the violence that once unfolded in these waters. But beneath the surface, a very different story is told. The lagoon is home to the wreckage of more than 60 ships, including warships, merchant vessels, and submarines, along with hundreds of aircraft, all sunk during a pivotal battle in February 1944. This event, known as Operation Hailstone, was a devastating Allied air and naval assault against the Japanese base. The attack on Truk Lagoon was swift and brutal. American bombers and fighter planes descended upon the harbor with near unrelenting precision, sending ships to the bottom of the lagoon and rendering the base virtually uninhabitable. The destruction was so complete that many of the wrecks remain undisturbed to this day. And while the loss of life was immense, hundreds of Japanese sailors, soldiers, and airmen perished in the attack. The mystery surrounding the fate of those who died and the potential secrets they took with them persists. The sunken ships, corroded by salt water and time, have become strange monuments to that violent chapter in history. Divers who venture into the depths of the lagoon are confronted with ghostly remnants of a bygone era. Rows of submerged battleships, their enormous guns still pointing upward, as though ready to fire at an enemy long gone. On the seabed, the twisted metal frames of aircraft lie entangled with coral reefs, their propellers frozen in time. The wrecks have become artificial reefs, teeming with marine life, yet they also serve as silent witnesses to the tragedy that unfolded. But it's not just the physical wreckage that's intriguing. It's the mysteries surrounding the fleet, the unresolved questions about the people who perished in these ships and planes. Some suggest that Truk Lagoon may harbor untold stories, the kind of stories that could offer a deeper understanding of the tragic events of World War II, and possibly of the forces at work during the war itself. One of the most persistent mysteries of the Ghost Fleet revolves around the sheer magnitude of the destruction. The attack was catastrophic. More than 200 aircraft and ships were destroyed, yet remarkably few of the wrecks were ever recovered. Why was the damage so extensive, yet so many of the wrecks remained largely untouched by time, leaving them relatively intact? Some believe that the lagoon, with its depth and isolation, has preserved these ships and planes in a state of almost perfect preservation. But others wonder whether something more enigmatic is at play. Could the lagoon itself be a natural time capsule, preserving the wrecks from both the ravages of nature and the passage of time? Or is there something more at work? Something that might explain why these wrecks have not disintegrated as quickly as would be expected, even decades after the attack. Then there are the stories of supernatural phenomena reported by divers. In a place so steeped in loss and death, it is perhaps not surprising that Truk Lagoon has garnered a reputation as a place where spirits are said to linger. Some divers have claimed to hear faint sounds, perhaps the distant echo of machinery or the whisper of voices. Others report feeling an overwhelming sense of unease when swimming through the wrecks. Could the ghosts of those lost in battle still haunt the lagoon, bound to the wreckage of the ships and planes they once called home? The most unsettling aspect of the Ghost Fleet, however, lies in the speculation about what might still be hidden in the depths. The lagoon has been described as a kind of underwater graveyard. But what if it is also something more? What if it is a repository of secrets, military technologies, hidden treasures, or even undiscovered relics from the war? Some believe that the wreckage could contain items of immense historical or political value, perhaps documents, equipment, or weapons that the Japanese were transporting during the attack. If such items were to be discovered, it could change our understanding of certain events during the war, or even reveal previously classified information. One of the most intriguing aspects of the wrecks at Truk Lagoon is that, although many ships and planes have been thoroughly explored, there remain portions of the fleet that have yet to be fully investigated. Some wrecks lie at extreme depths beyond the reach of conventional dive equipment. Others are buried under silt or coral growth, effectively hiding whatever they might contain. With advancements in deep-sea exploration technologies, the possibility of uncovering new artifacts from the wrecks remains a tantalizing prospect. Could there be untapped knowledge, weapons, or cultural artifacts still lying dormant beneath the surface? Or perhaps the lagoon still holds something far darker, something that was never meant to be found? As technological exploration into the depths of Truk Lagoon progresses, so too does the fascination with what might be left hidden in the wrecks. With state-of-the-art sonar mapping and remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, the lagoon is being explored more thoroughly than ever before. Yet, for all the modern tools at their disposal, researchers are still unable to definitively explain the full extent of the mystery surrounding the ghost fleet. What lies beneath the peaceful waters is still a riddle that has yet to be fully solved. The ghost fleet of Truk Lagoon stands as a silent testament to the destructive power of war, a place where the past and present coexist, and where the living are forever bound to the echoes of those who came before. While the lagoon's wreckage may be a museum of history, it is also a source of intrigue, mystery, and unanswered questions. What truths are buried in the depths? What secrets remain hidden in the rusting metal and corroded aircraft, waiting to be uncovered by those brave enough to dive into its waters? The mystery of Truk Lagoon is far from over, and the search for answers may have only just begun. Beneath the rolling waters of the English Channel, where waves crash against the shores of England and France, there exists a hidden world, an ancient landscape that is now submerged, but once was part of a vast continental river system. The ancient riverbeds beneath the English Channel, now long forgotten by most, are a fascinating mystery that scientists and explorers alike are only beginning to understand. In a time far before human civilization, around 500,000 to 1 million years ago, the English Channel was not the body of water we see today, but rather a land bridge. A bridge that connected Britain to the European mainland, allowing ancient animals and early humans to migrate across what was then dry land. What we now call the English Channel was once a river valley, a large flowing river system that stretched across the land. It is hard to imagine, given the vast body of water we see today, but beneath the surface lies an entire hidden ecosystem, one that holds clues to both ancient geography and the life forms that thrived here long before the waters rose. The riverbeds that lie beneath the English Channel have been largely unexplored, not due to lack of interest, but because of the sheer difficulty of accessing them. With depths of up to 150 meters, this submerged landscape lies beyond the reach of ordinary diving expeditions. But the discovery of these ancient riverbeds has ignited intrigue, as modern science and technology have slowly begun to peel back the layers of history. Thanks to advanced sonar imaging and subsea exploration technology, a clearer picture of this submerged terrain is emerging. The English Channel, while a busy shipping route today, has proven to be a goldmine of undiscovered information about the distant past. The riverbeds themselves, once teeming with fresh water, are now revealed in great detail, showing long-forgotten river channels and ancient meanders, alongside signs of prehistoric wildlife that once thrived in the area. What was once a vital river system is now an almost alien landscape, where the past is frozen in time beneath the relentless tides. One of the most compelling elements of these ancient riverbeds is the possibility that they preserved evidence of early human migration. Could these submerged rivers have been the pathway for early Homo sapiens to spread across what is now Europe? The idea that the ancient channel may have been a migration route for early humans adds a fascinating layer to the mystery. Archaeologists have already uncovered ancient tools and artifacts from prehistoric humans along the shores of the channel. But if the riverbed itself were to hold further clues, tools, bones, or even signs of long-forgotten settlements, it could offer a fresh understanding of how humanity first traversed these lands. But there are even more enigmatic possibilities. Beneath these waters, scientists have found evidence of ancient coastlines, where the land was once much broader than it is today. The shift from a land bridge to a body of water was gradual, but during periods of glaciation, sea levels dropped, allowing early humans and animals to move more freely across these landmasses. Some researchers speculate that these submerged river systems may hold evidence of prehistoric civilizations, possibly of people who existed long before the rise of known cultures like the Egyptians or Mesopotamians. Is it possible that long before the age of written history, there existed advanced human settlements now submerged beneath the waves? Some theories even point to mysterious objects that might have sunk into these waters during ancient times. For instance, there have been occasional reports of strange formations detected by sonar scans, unusual stone structures or geometric patterns that do not match any known natural formations. Could these be remnants of something more? Are they the remains of an ancient stone-built culture, older than any civilization we know? While no definitive evidence has been found, the possibility of uncovering such structures tantalizes both archaeologists and mystery enthusiasts alike. In addition to the question of human civilization, there is the broader issue of the ecology of the ancient rivers. The presence of long-extinct species of fish, mammals, and plants suggests that this was once a rich and diverse ecosystem. What was life like in this ancient river valley? Could the area have been home to a unique set of species, perhaps even prehistoric predators that have long since disappeared from history? Some speculate that the deep channels of the ancient river could have been an ideal habitat for large, elusive creatures, much like the mysterious creatures that still elude scientific explanation today. Could there have been life forms here? Perhaps undiscovered species that never made it into the fossil record, but still lived in the shadows of time? As research continues into the submerged riverbeds beneath the English Channel, many unanswered questions remain. While sonar scans and deep-sea dives have provided valuable insight, what lies deeper in the uncharted sections of the river valley still eludes us. Could there be prehistoric treasure, carefully hidden beneath the sands and silt? Perhaps even more intriguing, could the riverbeds harbor evidence of ancient interactions between humans and the natural world that we have not yet fully comprehended? For now, much of the ancient riverbed remains a mystery, a forgotten landscape beneath the waves, preserving secrets that we have yet to understand. How did the rise in sea levels, combined with other natural forces, create such a lasting and enigmatic environment? What ancient civilizations may have left traces in these deep waters, traces that we are only now beginning to uncover? The more we learn about the ancient riverbeds beneath the English Channel, the more questions we find ourselves asking. And the deeper we dive into the mystery, the more we realize just how much is still waiting to be discovered. The story of these submerged landscapes has only just begun to unfold, and what secrets lie beneath the water's surface remain an open question, one that will keep us searching for answers long into the future. As we move northward, far beyond the reach of human habitation, the Arctic waters of the Greenland Sea stretch into a frozen expanse, seemingly endless and uninviting. Beneath the icy surface of this remote region lies an anomaly that has captured the attention of researchers, explorers, and conspiracy theorists alike. A set of mysterious structures that for years have defied explanation and remain hidden beneath a layer of thick ice and deep water. Located off the coast of Greenland, deep within the Arctic Circle, the Greenland Sea is a place of stark beauty and unimaginable isolation. The ice floes here seem to move with a mind of their own, vast sheets of snow and ice stretching across the water like a frozen ocean, cracked and fractured by time and temperature. Yet, beneath this unyielding ice lies something altogether more peculiar, a submerged formation that has sparked questions and theories about its origins. What is it? How did it form? And what secrets does it hold beneath its frozen surface? The anomaly itself was first detected in 2002, when a group of researchers using sonar imaging began scanning the ocean floor near the Greenland coastline. At first, they thought they were seeing the usual geological formations one might expect in such a remote and harsh environment: undersea ridges, cracks in the seabed, and small pockets of buried ice. But as they continued their scans, they encountered something far more unusual. Deep below the sea ice, they found what appeared to be an artificial structure, a set of symmetrical, sharp-edged formations that did not resemble natural rock formations or typical oceanic topography. The sonar data suggested a structure that appeared to be made up of rectangular shapes, almost as if the seabed itself had been shaped by human hands or some form of intelligence. Further exploration using submarine probes and remote sensing techniques showed that the structure was not only large but remarkably complex, spanning hundreds of meters across the ocean floor. What made this discovery even more baffling was the lack of any known precedent for such formations in the region. The icy waters of the Greenland Sea are pristine and have been largely untouched by human civilization for centuries. The area's remoteness and the thickness of the ice shelf covering the water make it incredibly difficult to study. Yet the sonar imaging consistently returned strange, nearly unnatural patterns, a series of seemingly man-made structures buried under layers of sediment and ice. Could this be a remnant of a forgotten civilization, or an anomalous feature of the Earth's geological history? It is important to remember that the Greenland Sea has long been a place of intense geological activity, where tectonic plates shift beneath the ice and submarine volcanoes can erupt, creating new landscapes beneath the waves. The region is no stranger to strange occurrences, from magnetic anomalies to irregular seabed formations. But the regularity and precision of the shapes found by sonar made this discovery unlike anything typically seen in natural formations. As with most mysteries of this nature, speculation runs rampant. Some researchers suggest that the anomaly could be the result of glacial movements and tectonic forces that have reshaped the seafloor over millennia, creating patterns that simply appear man-made due to the peculiarities of the environment. After all, the ice and shifting land masses of the Arctic are constantly altering the terrain. Others, however, are not so quick to dismiss the possibility of human involvement. Could these structures be a relic of an ancient civilization, perhaps one whose existence predates recorded history? Some theorists point to the possibility of a lost Ice Age culture, one that may have once lived in this frigid part of the world before it became uninhabitable due to the advancing ice sheets. While there is little evidence to support the idea that humans once thrived in such an extreme environment, the notion that we might have missed an entire chapter of human history cannot be entirely ruled out. Could the structures beneath the ice be remnants of that forgotten past, their purpose and origin lost to time? Alternatively, there are those who view the Greenland Sea anomaly as a geological mystery, perhaps the result of previously unknown forces at work in the Earth's crust. Some scientists propose that the structures could be the result of underwater volcanic activity, which has shaped the seafloor in ways we do not yet fully understand. Others argue that these formations could be the result of hydrothermal vents, underwater fissures through which superheated water and minerals escape, potentially forming unusual structures in the surrounding seabed. But these ideas seem to leave more questions than answers. What truly adds to the enigma is the impossibility of reaching the site easily. The extreme conditions of the Greenland Sea, thick layers of ice, freezing temperatures, and unpredictable weather, make it incredibly difficult to study in any depth. Even with modern technology, sending expeditions to examine the site firsthand is a logistical challenge that few have attempted. In many ways, the region itself is a barrier, both physically and metaphorically, holding its secrets from the world. The remote location has kept the anomaly well out of the public eye, but it continues to haunt the minds of those who have studied it. Some have suggested that the Greenland Sea anomaly could be the remnants of a crashed spacecraft, either human or extraterrestrial, though no hard evidence has emerged to support this claim. The idea of an alien presence under the ice may sound fantastical to some, but in a world where mysterious artifacts and unexplained events occur with regularity, such speculation is far from unimaginable. Could the shapes under the ice be part of a long-forgotten shipwreck? Perhaps the remnants of a seafaring civilization that sank long before the first humans arrived in the region? One of the most intriguing aspects of this mystery is the idea that the anomaly could hold ancient secrets, hidden beneath the thick ice for millennia. It remains possible that there is something profound beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered. What truths might lie hidden within this frozen expanse? Truths that could shift our understanding of history and the world around us. And if the structures are indeed artificial, what could they tell us about the people, or beings, who created them? The Greenland Sea remains a place of mystery and intrigue, holding its secrets in the ice and depths. As we look to the future, the question remains: what is hiding beneath the ice, and will we ever uncover the frozen truths that the Greenland Sea holds? The vast expanse of the Gulf of Mexico is a place where the line between the known and the unknown becomes blurred. A region of boundless energy, teeming with life, and a network of vast underwater canyons and ridges. It's a place where the rhythms of the ocean dictate the pulse of the region. But beneath this familiar stretch of water lies a mystery that has left scientists, explorers, and even skeptics searching for answers. The Gulf of Mexico sonar anomaly. In the summer of 2004, a routine sonar scan conducted by a research vessel off the coast of Florida revealed an unusual structure beneath the ocean floor, one that immediately captured the attention of researchers. The sonar image displayed an enormous circular formation buried deep within the seabed, one that appeared to be perfectly symmetrical, an almost impossible characteristic for a natural structure. The object was discovered roughly 2,000 feet below the surface, near the continental shelf, an area already rich with historical shipwrecks and geological anomalies. But this discovery was unlike anything previously recorded. Initially, the anomaly was thought to be an ordinary geological feature, a submarine ridge or a fault line, formations that are not uncommon in such a geologically active region. However, closer inspection of the sonar data revealed something extraordinary. The structure was not just large. It appeared to have an unnatural geometric shape that seemed to defy the expected randomness of nature. Perfectly circular, almost too perfect to have formed naturally, and with distinct edges that suggested deliberate construction. This structure raised immediate questions. Was it a natural formation, or was it something far more enigmatic? Perhaps a human-made relic, an unknown artifact, or something entirely beyond our comprehension. Further investigations by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, and independent research teams have produced conflicting conclusions. Some have argued that the anomaly is likely the result of natural processes, geothermal activity, or the accumulation of sediments over time could have created such formations. Others have proposed that it could be a massive underwater crater formed by a volcanic eruption or some other catastrophic event. But the more scientists dig into the mystery, the more questions arise, leaving many to wonder whether the answers lie beyond the realm of conventional understanding. Theories about the anomaly's origin range from the plausible to the extraordinary. Some claim it could be the result of natural erosion caused by powerful ocean currents or the influence of submarine volcanic activity, shaping the ocean floor in patterns that simply appear too perfect to be random. Yet, the symmetry and precision of the structure challenge these explanations. Could it be that something far stranger is at play? Something that we have not yet considered? Some have speculated that the anomaly could be the remnants of an ancient underwater city, perhaps a civilization lost to time, its remains hidden beneath the depths for thousands of years. The idea of submerged cities is far from new. From the legendary Atlantis to the more recently discovered underwater structures off the coast of Japan's Yonaguni Islands, many have wondered if civilizations far older than recorded history could have thrived in places now swallowed by the sea. Could this anomaly be the remains of such a forgotten civilization? Could the circular formation be a temple or archaeological site, its purpose lost to the ages? Others have turned their attention to a more outlandish theory. Could the structure be of extraterrestrial origin? In recent years, unidentified submerged objects, USOs, the underwater counterparts to UFOs, have garnered attention as some researchers claim to have detected inexplicable objects moving in and out of the ocean depths. The Gulf of Mexico has long been a hotbed for such speculation, with reports of unidentified objects seen entering and exiting the water, as well as strange underwater sounds recorded by military sonar. The idea that something alien in origin could be lurking beneath the surface is not as far-fetched as it may seem. But as fascinating as this theory is, it remains firmly within the realm of speculation. Moreover, some believe the anomaly could be tied to ancient natural formations, possibly the remnants of a submerged asteroid impact. This could explain the structure's unusual shape and the surrounding distortions in the surrounding seabed. If this is true, the anomaly could be a buried impact crater, a relic of some ancient cosmic collision that sent ripples through the Earth's crust and forever altered the Gulf of Mexico's underwater landscape. Yet, no definitive evidence has yet been discovered to confirm this hypothesis, leaving it as another possible answer among many. However, one of the more intriguing possibilities has to do with the location itself. The Gulf of Mexico has long been a region rich with natural resources, including oil reserves and natural gas fields. The area is a hub of oil drilling, and some have suggested that the sonar anomaly could be linked to the vast network of pipelines, drilling platforms, and geological surveys occurring throughout the region. Could the anomaly simply be a byproduct of these human activities, a structure formed during drilling, or a geological feature altered by modern industrial processes? Though the potential for industrial activity to cause such a phenomenon seems plausible, it is important to note that no such activities have been recorded in this specific area. The mystery remains unresolved, leaving many to wonder whether human activities or natural forces are truly to blame. What role does the deep ocean floor play in this riddle, and what other unknown forces could be contributing to the creation of such mysterious anomalies? Despite the ongoing research and numerous theories, the Gulf of Mexico sonar anomaly remains one of the most intriguing and elusive underwater mysteries to date. It is a reminder of how much we still do not know about our own planet. As we explore the depths of the oceans, we find more questions than answers. The possibility that this anomaly is a relic of something ancient, alien, or even earthly, but beyond our current understanding, lingers in the minds of researchers and explorers alike. As the mystery persists, one truth remains clear. The oceans, especially the deep, remote regions like the Gulf of Mexico, continue to hold secrets that may never be fully understood. The deep, seemingly endless waters contain countless wonders waiting to be discovered, or perhaps remain hidden forever, their true nature locked beneath the waves. Could this anomaly be a clue to something far larger than we can imagine? Could it be that the secrets of the ocean's depths are more than just geological oddities, but remnants of long-lost histories, or even warnings from unknown realms? What, then, is waiting to be revealed, and how much of the deep sea's history remains hidden beneath the surface, buried in the mysterious waters of the Gulf? Beneath the waters of the Black Sea, a submerged mystery lies waiting, partially hidden from view, its secrets slowly being uncovered with each passing year. Not far from the Russian coast, off the coast of the Anapa Peninsula, a strange and ancient structure rests at the bottom of the sea, a structure that has caught the attention of historians, archaeologists, and explorers alike. The submerged fortress of Anapa. The discovery of this mysterious fortress was a pivotal moment in the ongoing exploration of the Black Sea's underwater landscape. The fortress, first identified in the mid-20th century, is thought to be an ancient defensive structure, potentially dating back to the Greek or Roman periods. While it had been rumored for centuries to exist beneath the waves, it wasn't until the advent of modern technology, specifically sonar mapping and underwater archaeology, that the true scale and design of the structure began to emerge. At a depth of approximately 50 meters, this sunken city sprawls across the seafloor, with its stone walls, towers, and defensive features clearly visible in sonar scans. Despite centuries of erosion, the layout of the fortress remains remarkably intact. Its circular foundations, resembling the design of classical fortifications, hint at a once thriving settlement, one that was perhaps built to protect the people living near the coastline from invasion or natural disaster. The presence of large, square-shaped stones suggests advanced construction techniques that could have been employed by the people who once lived in this area. Could this fortress have been part of a larger network of defenses designed to guard the Black Sea's northern shores? Was it intended to protect key trade routes or settlements from marauding invaders? Yet, while the fortress's architecture provides insight into the skill and sophistication of its builders, there are many unanswered questions about its origin. Who built it? Why was it constructed? And perhaps most intriguingly, why did it fall into ruin, only to be lost beneath the waves for centuries? Some of these questions point to the Greek colonies that once dotted the coastlines of the Black Sea. Ancient Greek mariners were known for their trading expeditions and coastal settlements. It's possible that this fortress was part of one such colony, perhaps guarding vital resources like salt or precious metals. But even this explanation leaves us with more questions than answers. Could it have been a Greek defense structure against other regional powers, such as the Persians or Scythians? Or was it constructed in a much later period by the Romans? The Roman Empire certainly had a vast presence in the area, and their engineering prowess would align with the grandeur of the fortress's design. As the site continues to be examined by underwater archaeologists, evidence is emerging that hints at a more mysterious side to the structure's purpose. In 2003, a team of researchers studying the site found what appeared to be an ancient stone doorway embedded deep within the seafloor. This discovery raised more questions than it answered. The doorway, which was adorned with intricate carvings, did not appear to align with any known architectural styles from ancient Greece or Rome. Could this be the remnant of a lost civilization, a people whose history had been erased from the records of time? If so, who were these people, and why did they disappear so completely? More intriguing still is the location of the fortress itself. The Black Sea has long been a site of intense interest due to its relatively young geological history. Unlike other seas, the Black Sea is a closed ecosystem where the influx of water from the Mediterranean is limited, and the deeper regions of the sea are often deprived of oxygen. This has led to the preservation of many ancient wrecks and artifacts that would have decayed in other, more oxygen-rich environments. Could the location of this submerged fortress be part of a much larger, still undiscovered network of underwater structures that once dotted the coastlines of the Black Sea? Some researchers have gone even further, suggesting that the fortress might have been part of a much older civilization, one that existed long before the Greek or Roman influence in the region. Could the fortress be a remnant of the Sumerians, an enigmatic group mentioned in Greek mythology? Or perhaps it was constructed by the tribes of the Black Sea, people whose histories have been largely lost to time, their stories swallowed by the depths of the ocean. Despite the presence of sonar scans, archaeological dives, and modern technology, the full extent of the site has yet to be uncovered. How much of the fortress lies beneath the silt of the seabed? Is it possible that hidden chambers, inscriptions, or artifacts still remain undiscovered within its walls? Some have speculated that the fortress was a fortified religious center, perhaps dedicated to a long-forgotten deity or celestial event, while others suggest that it was a military outpost, defending against pirates or other invaders who threatened the strategic position of the Black Sea. Yet, the most compelling mystery may lie not in the physical structure itself, but in the timing of its disappearance. What caused it to sink into the ocean depths? Was it a natural disaster, an earthquake, tsunami, or volcanic eruption that ravaged the coastline? Or did it fall into ruin due to human conflict, a shift in power, or a collapse of civilization? If this fortress was indeed part of a larger network of coastal defenses, its sudden disappearance might suggest a larger catastrophic event that affected not only this site, but many others along the Black Sea's perimeter. Moreover, many have raised the possibility that the fortress wasn't entirely submerged due to a natural disaster or warfare. Could the sinking of the Anapa fortress be tied to the same mysterious forces that have long been associated with the Black Sea itself? This region is known for its peculiar geological activity, and some have speculated that an underwater landslide or seismic shift could have caused the structure to tumble into the depths. If such a phenomenon was involved, could it have buried other similar structures, perhaps even entire cities, beneath the waves? Though research continues, the submerged fortress of Anapa stands as a testament to the long-lost past of the Black Sea, its secrets slowly being unveiled but still holding many mysteries just out of reach. The existence of this ancient structure challenges our understanding of the history of the region. Could it be evidence of a forgotten civilization whose legacy has been erased by time and the tides? Or is it a mere remnant of a more familiar culture, one whose purpose we are only beginning to comprehend? Whatever the truth may be, the fortress remains a symbol of the vast untapped history lying beneath the waves, waiting for us to uncover its final secrets. What lies beneath this submerged citadel, hidden away in the dark waters of the Black Sea? Perhaps the answers are waiting, just out of sight, in the deep, cold embrace of the ocean floor. In the deep, murky waters of the Atlantic Ocean, more than 70 years ago, a mysterious event unfolded that still puzzles historians and treasure hunters alike. The disappearance of the Japanese submarine I-52 during World War II. This lost vessel, and the treasure it may have carried, has become a subject of intrigue and speculation ever since it vanished from the world's radar, never to be seen again. At least not until the 1980s. The I-52 was no ordinary submarine. Built by the Japanese Imperial Navy, this Type B-2 submarine was part of a larger fleet deployed during the war for both reconnaissance and strategic missions. With a length of nearly 100 meters and a displacement of over 2,600 tons, it was a formidable vessel designed to carry a heavy load. But the mission it undertook in the spring of 1944 would take it on a fateful journey. A journey that, unbeknownst to many at the time, would seal the submarine's place in history as the subject of one of the greatest underwater mysteries of the 20th century. The I-52 was on a clandestine mission, transporting gold, precious metals, and other valuable materials to support Japan's war efforts. It had set sail from Penang, in British Malaya, and was headed for the Japanese-controlled Kure when it vanished without a trace in the mid-Atlantic. This disappearance was not just an accident or an unfortunate sinking. It was part of a series of events that raised questions about what exactly the submarine had been carrying and what might have happened to it. Official records tell a story of an attack by Allied forces, leading to the I-52's loss. On July 1st, 1944, the submarine was struck by depth charges dropped by the U.S. Navy's aircraft, B-24 Liberators, off the coast of the Azores. The explosion seemed to be the end of the I-52. However, the mystery deepened when no wreckage was found, and its cargo, believed to include a massive stash of gold, was never recovered. What happened to the gold? How could such a large submarine with such valuable cargo simply vanish without a trace? For decades, the fate of the I-52 was thought to be a closed case. The submarine was assumed to have sunk to the ocean floor, its valuable cargo lost in the deep. But in the early 1980s, the legend of the I-52 took a dramatic turn. Using advanced sonar technology, a team of treasure hunters led by the American millionaire Admiral Tom L. claimed to have located the wreckage of the I-52, lying at a depth of nearly 5,000 feet. But the mystery didn't end there. The wreckage, once found, was remarkably intact, suggesting the submarine had not been heavily damaged by the bombings. Yet, when the treasure hunters attempted to retrieve the cargo, they found something disturbing. No gold, no precious metals, nothing of the rumored treasure. Instead, only the remnants of the submarine, scattered and covered with layers of sediment, remained. This left many questions in its wake. Had the gold been removed before the submarine was struck? Or was the story of the I-52's treasure nothing more than a rumor that had grown over time? Some speculated that the gold had been removed by the Japanese themselves before the fateful attack. In the days leading up to the submarine's disappearance, it's possible that Japan had made secret arrangements to recover the treasure, or perhaps confiscate it for their own military purposes. In that case, was the sinking of the I-52 a deliberate cover-up to ensure the valuable cargo didn't fall into Allied hands? If this were the case, it would suggest a level of strategic deception and treasure hoarding on the part of the Japanese Navy that had never been fully acknowledged by historians. Alternatively, there are those who point to the possibility that the submarine was not sunk by Allied forces, but instead succumbed to mechanical failure or some other catastrophic event. Could the crew have been dealing with a malfunction that caused them to lose control before being destroyed? It is known that the I-52 was built under significant pressure, and its design was experimental for its time. The stresses of the voyage, the dangerous cargo, and the extended periods of submerged travel may have caused technical issues that the submarine crew were unable to manage, leading to its eventual loss without the desired treasure to accompany its final voyage. Others argue that the gold and the submarine's entire mission could have been a decoy, intended to distract the Allies from a different, more strategically important operation. Given the secrecy surrounding the I-52's voyage, it's possible that the submarine was carrying something other than gold, perhaps secret documents, advanced technology, or weapons that were far more valuable than gold to the Japanese war effort. If this were the case, the gold rumors could have been a cover story, a clever ruse to hide the true nature of the mission and confuse both enemy forces and the world at large. Then there's the mysterious disappearance of the wreck itself. Even with modern diving expeditions and advanced sonar technology, it is still not entirely clear why the I-52 wreck has remained so elusive. Despite being located in the early 80s, the wreck has been difficult to study and even harder to explore. The depths at which it lies, coupled with the challenging currents of the Atlantic, make it nearly impossible for researchers to retrieve tangible evidence from the site. Is the wreck too deep for human intervention? Or is there something more complex about the location that prevents clear visibility, concealing not only the wreck but whatever may have been carried aboard? As the mystery deepens, questions continue to emerge. What was the true cargo of the I-52? Where did the gold go? And most curiously, why has so little progress been made in uncovering the submarine's secrets? While numerous attempts to locate and investigate the wreck have been made, only fragments of the story have been revealed, leaving behind a haunting legacy of what might have been one of the greatest treasures of the Second World War. Perhaps the answer lies buried within the dark waters of the Atlantic Ocean, or perhaps it remains locked away within the complex web of wartime secrecy. Either way, the I-52 continues to capture the imaginations of those who seek to unravel the truth of this lost submarine and its golden cargo, a mystery that may remain unsolved for years to come. What is the true fate of the treasure aboard the I-52? What could possibly explain the submarine's disappearance? And why is the wreck so hard to study? The answers may be out there, buried deep beneath the waves, hidden in the shadows of the deep sea. And as technology advances, we may one day uncover what has been hidden from us for so long. Until then, the I-52 and its elusive cargo remain one of the most enigmatic underwater mysteries in history. Beneath the waves off the coast of India, in an area known for its rich history and ancient secrets, a curious discovery was made that still baffles scientists and researchers. In 2001, divers exploring the seabed near the town of Kochi in Kerala stumbled upon a collection of strange metallic orbs, perfectly round and seemingly unnatural in their construction. These orbs, some of which were as large as 3 feet in diameter, lay scattered on the ocean floor, their smooth, metallic surfaces almost gleaming in the dim light of the deep. The orbs were made of a mysterious metal alloy, unlike any known to modern industry. Their structure, appearance, and even their origins defied the basic principles of metallurgy that have been studied for centuries. They were made from a heavy, solid material, but no identifiable markings were present to offer clues as to their creator. Initially dismissed by some as mere natural formations, perhaps the product of geological processes or the result of some strange underwater phenomenon, the discovery soon sparked widespread curiosity. Why had no one seen anything like this before? The questions only deepened when additional orbs were discovered during subsequent dives. These objects were found scattered across the ocean floor in a relatively concentrated area, far from the reach of modern industry or any known shipwreck. Could these orbs have been remnants of some ancient civilization? Or could they be far older, their true origins buried beneath layers of time and history? To understand the significance of these orbs, one must first consider the location itself, the Indian Ocean, home to some of the most ancient civilizations known to mankind. From the ancient ports of trade routes to the vibrant, centuries-old cultures that developed along the coastline, the region has long been a hub of human activity. Yet, the idea that these mysterious orbs could be connected to a lost civilization is both tantalizing and unsettling. Could they be the remnants of an advanced ancient society, one with technology far beyond what we can understand today? Some have suggested the possibility that these objects are artifacts from a civilization lost to time, potentially dating back thousands of years. The theory gains traction when one considers the geographical proximity of Kerala to the ancient city of Dwaraka, a mythical city mentioned in Hindu scriptures, believed by some to have once existed in the region but submerged beneath the waves due to a cataclysmic event. Was it possible that these orbs were connected to Dwaraka, or perhaps another lost civilization? For decades, researchers have attempted to establish a link between these orbs and ancient technologies. While some suggest that the orbs may be purely natural formations, created by specific types of mineral deposits and ocean currents, the design and symmetry of the spheres seem almost too perfect to be the result of nature alone. Their smooth surfaces, precise shapes, and uniform size strongly imply some form of intentional creation. This suggests the possibility that they were crafted by human hands, or by a highly advanced civilization whose technology has been lost to time. As the mystery deepens, questions arise about the true nature of these orbs. Were they weapons, tools, or perhaps, as some theorists suggest, cultural or religious symbols, embedded with hidden meanings that have been lost to modern eyes? The lack of inscriptions or markings only fuels the mystery, leaving no definitive answers to these questions. Adding to the enigma is the material the orbs are made of. Modern metallurgists and material scientists have analyzed the orbs extensively, but their findings have yet to reveal any conclusive answers. The orbs are composed of a complex metallic alloy that contains traces of materials that aren't commonly found together. Some believe that this strange combination of elements points to a highly advanced metallurgical process, one that would be difficult, if not impossible, to replicate today. Could this be evidence of ancient technologies far ahead of their time? Interestingly, some researchers have drawn comparisons between the orbs found in the Indian Ocean and similar discoveries made in other parts of the world. In Mexico, for example, a number of spherical stones were uncovered near the Chihuahua Desert. These stones, though different in composition, share a number of characteristics with the metallic orbs of Kerala. Are these findings merely coincidence, or could they point to a larger, more widespread phenomenon, one that crosses continents and defies the conventional understanding of history? As the mystery continues to unfold, speculation has grown about the purpose of these objects. Could they have served a functional purpose, a means of navigation, communication, or even storage? Some theorists point to the idea that the orbs may have once been used to harness energy, a concept that aligns with some of the more outlandish theories about lost ancient technologies. What if these orbs, created by a civilization that predates recorded history, were part of an advanced energy system that we can't yet understand? Or perhaps the orbs were not of earthly origin at all. Some more speculative theories suggest that these metallic spheres might be of extraterrestrial origin. Could they have arrived on Earth long before humanity's first civilizations? Were they left behind by visitors from beyond our planet, as many other unexplained artifacts have been theorized to be? While such theories remain highly speculative, they do offer a provocative perspective on the mystery, suggesting that the true story of these orbs may be far more complex than we can imagine. The scientific community remains divided over these theories, with some dismissing the more extraordinary explanations as fanciful, while others maintain an open mind, intrigued by the prospect of uncovering more about these enigmatic objects. As the orbs continue to sit at the bottom of the ocean, their secrets remain tantalizingly out of reach. The true nature of the metallic orbs found off the coast of India is still unknown. Was this an ancient technological marvel, a relic of a lost civilization, or something more far-fetched, perhaps a message from another time or another world entirely? As researchers continue to study these mysterious artifacts, one thing remains certain. The truth, whatever it may be, has yet to be discovered. The orbs lie silently beneath the waves, waiting for someone to unlock their hidden story. And until that happens, the mystery of the metallic orbs will remain one of the most compelling underwater enigmas the world has yet to solve. What other secrets do the depths of the Indian Ocean hold? And what truths will emerge as we dive deeper into the mysteries of the past? Only time and further exploration will tell. In the vast, dark expanse of the world's oceans, beyond the reach of sunlight, a strange and mysterious phenomenon unfolds, one that continues to baffle scientists and captivate the imagination. Bioluminescence is the term used to describe the eerie glow emitted by certain organisms that inhabit the deep ocean. But some creatures, strangely, display a behavior that is far more intriguing: red flashing lights. These intermittent bursts of crimson light from the abyss seem almost too deliberate to be random, too powerful to be natural. The red flashes, often appearing as isolated bursts of light against the inky blackness, have been witnessed by deep-sea divers and remotely operated submersibles, ROVs, in areas like the Mariana Trench, the Atlantic Ocean, and the depths off the coast of New Zealand. While bioluminescence is well known for its role in deep-sea environments, where it helps organisms communicate, attract mates, or hunt, these red flashing organisms present a greater mystery. Most bioluminescent creatures emit blue or green light, wavelengths that are more visible in the depths of the ocean, but red light is an anomaly. Red light, in this context, is invisible to most of the creatures in the deep, making it a puzzling evolutionary choice. A closer look at these creatures reveals a disturbing truth. Scientists don't really know what they are. Unlike more commonly known bioluminescent organisms such as fireflies or deep-sea anglerfish, which utilize light for communication and hunting, the exact purpose behind the red flashes remains unexplained. In the ocean's depths, where little to no light penetrates, creatures have adapted in fascinating ways. The vast majority of bioluminescent creatures produce blue or green light, colors that travel best through water. This makes sense for creatures seeking to attract prey, evade predators, or mark territory. However, the appearance of red flashes challenges conventional wisdom. Red light doesn't travel well through water, especially in the deeper, darker regions. So why would any organism evolve to produce it? One widely accepted theory is that the red flashes may serve as a defensive mechanism. The idea is that these organisms may be warned off by predators, particularly those that are unable to detect red light. This gives the red flashing creatures a unique form of protection, a camouflage of sorts against hunters that rely on bioluminescence for hunting or navigating in the deep ocean. The theory suggests that by emitting red flashes, the creatures might be signaling a form of invisibility, almost like a darkness within darkness, impossible to detect by most predators. Another theory proposes that the red light could be used for communication. The flashing might be a complex signal or pattern used to mark territory or perhaps even attract mates. Could the flashes indicate something about the creature's health, species, or reproductive state? Some researchers believe that the red flashes may form part of an elaborate code, a language known only to the denizens of the deep. However, the lack of data on these flashing organisms makes it nearly impossible to draw definitive conclusions. Yet, even with these speculative theories, one question remains. Why red light? The wavelength of red light is much longer than blue or green, and as a result, it does not travel efficiently through water. For many organisms in the deep, red light is practically invisible. So why would these creatures invest energy in producing something that serves no apparent function for most of their environment? Some have even ventured into more mysterious territory, speculating that the red flashes could be linked to a higher intelligence, perhaps a cognitive signaling system that we have yet to understand. Could these flashes be a form of cryptic communication, meant for beings far different from the organisms we know? The mystery is all the more compelling because of the absence of conclusive evidence. We have observed bioluminescent creatures for decades, but these red flashing organisms represent something that does not quite fit into the categories of known behavior. These red flashes have also been observed in association with underwater volcanic activity. Some researchers believe the phenomena could be connected to geological events, where the tremors of the Earth's crust produce disturbances that trigger the creatures to release flashes of light. Could these flashes somehow be related to seismic activity? Is the behavior of the red flashing organisms a response to the subtle shifts in the ocean floor, acting as a kind of early warning system? Or are these creatures, possibly even new species, simply reacting to environmental factors in ways we are yet to understand? Then, there's the possibility of extraterrestrial influence. While this theory might seem speculative, it is not entirely without precedent. Some researchers have suggested that the deep sea, with its unknown and poorly understood creatures, might hold clues to alien life or extraterrestrial phenomena. Could these red flashes somehow signal a hidden presence, or serve as a message from an unknown intelligence, one that exists not on land, but in the unexplored depths of the ocean? But perhaps the most perplexing theory of all is that these flashing red creatures may represent a remnant of Earth's ancient past, a biological form that survived through evolutionary niches in ways most life forms never did. Could these creatures be primitive remnants of life forms that existed millions of years ago, perhaps before the advent of light-dependent organisms? The deep ocean is one of the oldest and least understood ecosystems on Earth, and it's possible that these creatures are living fossils, holding answers to questions we haven't even thought to ask yet. As technology improves and deep-sea exploration becomes more sophisticated, new discoveries are bound to be made. The true purpose behind these red flashing creatures may one day be uncovered, but for now, they remain one of the most profound and unexplained mysteries of the deep ocean. With each dive, with each flash of crimson light, we are reminded of how much of our planet's history and biology remains hidden beneath the waves. What truths could be lurking beneath the surface of the ocean? And what other strange and fascinating creatures might we yet discover in the unexplored depths of the world's oceans? Only time and deeper exploration will answer these questions. Until then, the mystery of the red flashing organisms endures, their purpose as elusive as the depths from which they emerge. Beyond the jagged, wind-swept shores of the Azores archipelago in the mid-Atlantic, the ocean remains a place of wonder and mystery. These volcanic islands, scattered across the sea like emerald jewels, stand at the edge of one of the world's most complex tectonic regions. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge, which runs like a spine through the ocean floor, is a place where the Earth's tectonic plates diverge, shaping and reshaping the underwater landscape. But beneath the cool, dark waters surrounding the Azores, something else lurks, something that continues to defy explanation. It has been described as an underwater wall, a perfectly straight, seemingly man-made structure that appears to be far older than anything else around it. Stretching hundreds of meters and sitting at a depth of nearly 1,200 meters, 3,937 feet, the wall is a subject of much speculation and intrigue. First discovered in the early 1990s by deep-sea explorers, the wall remains largely unexplored. Sonar scans have revealed an unusual rectangular formation that doesn't appear to fit with the natural geological formations typical of the area. Its symmetry stands out against the surrounding seafloor, which is characterized by rugged volcanic terrain shaped by millions of years of volcanic activity. The wall itself, though largely obscured by silt and sediment, still retains its distinct shape. Some have even proposed that the structure might be a relic of an ancient civilization, suggesting that it is the remains of a lost city or underwater temple from a time long forgotten. On the other hand, many scientists and researchers propose more natural explanations. The region surrounding the Azores is seismically active, with frequent earthquakes and volcanic eruptions that continually reshape the ocean floor. Could this unusual formation simply be a product of tectonic forces, the result of millions of years of geological activity? Some experts argue that the appearance of the wall could be a rare and naturally occurring phenomenon, a result of the complex interaction between magma and underwater currents. Despite these explanations, the question still lingers. Why does this wall stand out so clearly from the surrounding seafloor? And why does it appear so geometric in nature, as though it was constructed rather than formed by natural processes? Could this be evidence of something far older than the region's volcanic activity? A structure built by ancient humans, or even something older still? It is a provocative idea, one that has fueled various theories over the years. The idea of lost civilizations submerged beneath the ocean is not new. Many cultures, from the Atlanteans of Greek mythology to the Indus Valley civilization of ancient India, have been associated with submerged cities and structures lost to time. Could this wall be part of such a forgotten civilization? Or might it be something even more mysterious, perhaps connected to extraterrestrial beings or unknown advanced technologies? As compelling as these ideas are, the lack of clear evidence means they remain speculative at best. The majority of scientists point to the geology of the area to explain the formation of the wall. The Azores are located at the boundary of two tectonic plates, where volcanic activity and underwater fissures are common. Over millions of years, the region's geology has been shaped by immense forces, and it's entirely possible that the straight, angular nature of the wall could simply be the result of these forces, combined with the erosion caused by underwater currents. The geometrically perfect shapes often found in nature can sometimes be the product of such processes, though this doesn't necessarily explain the precise symmetry observed in the wall. Perhaps more intriguingly, some have speculated that the wall may have been shaped by a natural underwater structure, a type of ridge or column created by volcanic activity that has since eroded and weathered over time. This would explain its straight edges and sharp angles, while still fitting into the narrative of the region's active geology. If this is the case, then the wall could simply be an ancient feature that has been preserved beneath the ocean's surface, yet still holds its dramatic, almost unnatural shape. In a deeper dive into the mystery, one also has to consider the surrounding environment and the unique underwater terrain of the Azores. The underwater topography is often characterized by large mountainous ridges, deep valleys, and significant tectonic fissures. The mid-Atlantic ridge alone stretches for thousands of miles beneath the ocean, and it's not difficult to imagine how a singular feature such as the wall could have emerged in the midst of such tumultuous geological activity. However, it's worth noting that the wall is not the only unexplained feature in this region. Some nearby areas of the Azores have been home to even stranger discoveries. Pyramidal formations and what seem to be buried ruins have been detected just off the coast, but the depth at which these objects lie makes them nearly impossible to access. Submersibles have tried, but the extreme depths and remote location have made it difficult to investigate these finds thoroughly. Is it possible that we are witnessing the remnants of an advanced culture? Or could the area hold secrets to something far older and more enigmatic? And while the idea of a lost civilization has captured the public's imagination, there are still many challenges in proving such theories. For one, no definitive artifacts have been recovered, and no other corroborating evidence suggests that this region was ever inhabited by ancient civilizations. Moreover, the sheer size of the underwater wall and its location far beneath the surface make it difficult for researchers to access and study it properly. As more sonar technology and underwater robots are developed, the mystery surrounding this structure may one day be solved, or perhaps it will deepen further. The ocean, after all, is a vast and largely uncharted territory, holding countless secrets beneath its surface. The Azores Wall, though still a mystery, stands as a testament to the vastness of the unknown. What truths might lie beneath its shadow, waiting to be uncovered? Is it an ancient structure built by unknown hands, a geological anomaly, or simply a byproduct of natural forces? As researchers continue their work, one thing remains clear. The secrets of the ocean are far from revealed, and the wall near the Azores is just one of many enigmas waiting for a deeper investigation. As the sun dips below the horizon of the Arabian Sea, the waters, which were once a vibrant shade of blue, begin to take on a mysterious hue, something not entirely natural. In the fading light, a soft, eerie glow begins to emerge, stretching across the ocean's surface in delicate patterns, almost as though the sea itself is alive with a subtle energy. This bioluminescence, visible to the naked eye, flickers across the water like distant stars, undulating and shifting in a dance of luminous beauty. For centuries, sailors and fishermen have reported seeing this enigmatic phenomenon, which comes and goes with the rhythms of the sea. However, what is happening beneath the water's surface to create such a glow is not fully understood, despite the fact that it has fascinated both scientists and the curious public alike. In essence, this glow is not a new phenomenon, nor is it confined to the Arabian Sea. Similar occurrences of bioluminescence have been observed in other parts of the world's oceans, from the coasts of California to the waters off the coast of Japan. However, the glow in the Arabian Sea is particularly unique in its intensity and duration, and the fact that it appears so consistently throughout certain periods adds an extra layer of intrigue. So, what is causing this strange and mesmerizing glow? Scientists have long believed that bioluminescence, light produced by living organisms, stems from a biochemical reaction. In the Arabian Sea, This glow is typically attributed to microscopic organisms, primarily certain species of phytoplankton. These tiny organisms produce light as a defense mechanism, often in response to movement or disturbance in the water, such as waves, ship activity, or fish swimming nearby. The specific organisms responsible for the glow are dinoflagellates, a group of plankton known for their ability to emit light. When these organisms are agitated, they release chemicals that interact with oxygen in the water to produce a flash of light. This phenomenon, often seen in shallow coastal waters during warm months, is generally harmless, though the intensity of the glow can vary. But as much as this explanation satisfies the scientific community, there are still unresolved questions that have fueled more speculative theories. What makes the bioluminescence in the Arabian Sea so different from other locations? Why is the glow here not just a rare occurrence, but almost a regular event? And what deeper forces could be at play in shaping this extraordinary display? Some researchers suggest that the physical geography of the Arabian Sea might play a crucial role. The sea is surrounded by dense, arid deserts, which funnel a great deal of warm, nutrient-rich waters into its depths. This influx of nutrients provides the ideal environment for plankton and other marine life to thrive. The vast desert ecosystems around the sea are a natural source of dust and other particulate matter, which can be carried into the water by winds. These particles, when mixed with warm, upwelling currents, could provide the necessary ingredients to fuel the growth of bioluminescent organisms in higher concentrations. However, this natural explanation still leaves some important questions unanswered. Why, for instance, do certain regions of the Arabian Sea seem to exhibit much more intense bioluminescence than others? In some places, the glow is so pronounced that it appears to cast a soft light on the ocean's surface, illuminating the water in ghostly shades of blue and green, almost as though some hidden force is behind it. Then, of course, there is the legend of the blue ghost, a mysterious phenomenon that has been reported by sailors and fishermen throughout the centuries. This is a particularly strange form of bioluminescence, where the glow appears to rise from the ocean floor and illuminate the water in vast, moving patches. Some have even suggested that it is not just a biological process, but possibly linked to geological or even extraterrestrial phenomena. While these more speculative theories remain intriguing, they cannot be proven with the data currently available. Nonetheless, the Arabian Sea's glowing waters have inspired many who seek to understand the true nature of the ocean. Could these lights be more than just a coincidence of nature? Could they be tied to deeper, as yet undiscovered aspects of the planet, or even to something beyond the Earth itself? In recent years, the Arabian Sea has been the subject of more scientific exploration. Deep-sea submersibles have ventured into its depths to uncover the secrets that lie beneath, and the results have been both illuminating and mysterious. Among the creatures discovered in the deep are bioluminescent jellyfish, glowing squid, and countless other organisms that light up the darkness like stars in the sky. The glow in these deeper waters seems to take on a far more ethereal quality, one that is not tied to the surface disturbances that typically trigger the plankton's bioluminescence. In fact, it has been suggested by some researchers that there could be an entire ecosystem of organisms in the deep waters of the Arabian Sea that rely on bioluminescence for communication, mating, or hunting. In these lightless depths, bioluminescence might serve as a beacon, signaling where to find food, or perhaps even where to find others of the same species. But what if the phenomenon is not limited to biological processes at all? What if, beyond the realm of plankton, there is something far more mysterious at play? The idea of light coming from deep below the ocean has long been linked to alien phenomena, or even unexplained energy sources within the Earth. Some have hypothesized that the bioluminescence could be connected to ancient tectonic processes or even the movement of underground currents, forces far beyond what is visible to the human eye. The fact that the glow of the Arabian Sea has captivated humans for millennia suggests that there is more to this phenomenon than meets the eye. Could it be that the glow is tied to something far older and deeper than just plankton? What truths might remain hidden beneath the waves of the Arabian Sea, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves? As more is discovered about this unique natural wonder, it will undoubtedly raise even more questions, driving us to continue looking into the depths for answers. But for now, the mysterious glow of the Arabian Sea remains one of the ocean's most enchanting and enigmatic spectacles, an unexplained beacon calling out to those who are willing to venture beneath the surface to discover what lies hidden in the dark. As the mist rises from the surface of Lake Ontario in the early hours of the morning, the water seems to hold its breath, a quiet stillness enveloping the vast expanse. Beneath its glassy exterior lies a labyrinth of hidden secrets, some of which have confounded explorers and scientists for years. One of the most intriguing aspects of this Great Lake, an integral part of the Great Lakes system, is the phenomenon of the Lake Ontario mystery spots, locations where the waters conceal unexplained anomalies, objects and structures that stir both curiosity and uncertainty. The lake, which spans more than 7,300 square kilometers, has long been known for its deep, cold waters. In fact, Lake Ontario is the smallest and easternmost of the Great Lakes, its depths reaching up to 802 feet, 245 meters, in some areas. Yet, as expansive as it may seem, much of the lake remains shrouded in mystery, especially in certain spots where unusual readings have been recorded by sonar and divers alike. For decades, a handful of peculiar areas in Lake Ontario have puzzled anyone who ventures close enough to explore them. These spots, often characterized by strange underwater formations or unexplained disturbances, have sparked both scientific inquiry and wild speculation. But while much is known about the lake's geography and history, what lies beneath its surface remains largely unexplained. One of the most enduring legends surrounding Lake Ontario involves a series of strange underwater formations discovered in the 1950s. Divers and sonar scans have revealed what appear to be unnatural, geometric shapes buried deep within the lakebed, some of which resemble pyramids, walls, and other structures. These formations seem far too precise and orderly to be the work of natural forces, leading some to wonder if they are remnants of an ancient civilization lost to time, or even something more unconventional. One notable mystery spot involves what's been referred to as the mystery shipwreck, an unidentified massive object believed to be an ancient vessel. Over the years, sonar technology has picked up large, ship-like structures lying deep within the lake, some of which are thought to be much older than any known wrecks in the area. With no records of any ships disappearing in that specific location, questions arise. Is this a shipwreck from a forgotten era? Or is it possible that these structures were not man-made at all, but instead are part of a larger, uncharted geological formation? While some believe that these submerged formations might be the result of natural geological processes, others lean toward more speculative explanations. The alignment of these structures and their apparent symmetry make it difficult to dismiss the idea that they could be the remnants of a long-lost civilization. Could these underwater anomalies have been built by a people who once thrived near the shores of what is now Lake Ontario, leaving no trace above water, only these submerged remnants? As intriguing as the prospect of an ancient lost city might sound, there are also more grounded, albeit no less perplexing, explanations. Some have pointed to the possibility of these formations being glacial remnants. During the last ice age, glaciers moved across the landscape, carving out deep depressions and leaving behind large piles of rock and debris. The shapes and structures found in Lake Ontario could, in theory, be the result of the way the glaciers deposited material or the way in which the lake's floor was shaped over thousands of years. However, even this theory struggles to account for some of the more unusual readings taken by divers and sonar technology. In some areas, unusual rectangular shapes or even what appear to be paved pathways can be detected beneath the surface. These features are difficult to explain through natural processes alone. What are we looking at? Is this evidence of ancient human activity in the region? Or is it simply the result of geological quirks that we have yet to fully understand? The most baffling element of these mystery spots in Lake Ontario, however, may be the disappearances that have occurred over the years. The lake is notorious for its unpredictable weather and sudden storms, but it also has a history of unexplained vessel disappearances. Whether these incidents are related to the submerged structures or not remains a topic of debate, but they add another layer of intrigue to the lake's mysteries. Could there be an underlying force at work in Lake Ontario that has led to the disappearance of ships and planes? Or could the strange underwater formations be the key to understanding these disappearances? Hydrothermal vents beneath the lake. These natural features can create sudden currents, pockets of trapped gas, or even magnetic anomalies, all of which could potentially interfere with the operation of vessels or the safety of those navigating the waters above. Some believe that such conditions could explain the strange occurrences and mysteries that continue to unfold in these dark, unexplored depths. As recent technology continues to probe deeper into Lake Ontario, some of these mystery spots are being mapped and analyzed in greater detail. 3D sonar imaging and robotic submersibles are now able to capture more accurate data than ever before, revealing previously hidden features of the lakebed. Yet, despite these advancements, the true origin and purpose of these strange formations remain elusive. Perhaps it is the mystery itself that makes Lake Ontario such an enduring subject of fascination. From sunken ships to unexplained sonar readings, this lake offers more questions than answers, fueling theories about lost civilizations, natural anomalies, and even undiscovered species that may call the deep waters home. The lake holds its secrets tightly, inviting us to ask, but never quite answering. What lies beneath the surface of Lake Ontario? Are these strange formations the remnants of a forgotten civilization, or are they simply an odd coincidence of nature? The lake may never fully reveal its mysteries, leaving us to wonder, perhaps forever, whether these enigmatic spots will ever be fully understood. Beneath the icy, churning waters of the North Sea, a ghostly graveyard of submerged vessels lies hidden, its depths holding secrets from one of the darkest chapters of human history. Here, far from the gaze of the public eye, remnants of World War I have quietly persisted for over a century. Submarine convoys, lost during the chaos of naval warfare, now rest in the deep, enshrouded by the cold silence of the ocean floor. The North Sea, known for its treacherous weather and its key role in both military and commercial maritime routes, is not a place for the faint-hearted. Its waters, once a battleground for brutal sea clashes, now cradle the wrecks of a forgotten war. It's said that some of the most haunting underwater mysteries are found in these waters, an area where both Allied and German submarines fought bitterly, where massive convoys met with tragic ends, and where the consequences of war are now buried beneath layers of sand and silt. One such mystery is the discovery of sunken WWI submarine convoys, hidden far beneath the waves. These submerged fleets, composed of a variety of vessels, many of them submarines, are a relic of war strategies long abandoned, remnants of a time when undersea warfare was still in its infancy. The U-boat fleets that once ruled these waters are now ghostly figures, their wrecks a reminder of the fierce naval arms race of the early 20th century. What makes these submerged convoys even more intriguing is the mystery of their exact locations. Over the years, sonar scans and underwater expeditions have revealed numerous wrecks scattered across the North Sea's expansive floor, but precise coordinates often elude historians and archaeologists. The danger of navigating these waters today is not so different from the peril that beset these vessels nearly a century ago, adding a layer of dangerous allure to their exploration. Still, the full extent of these sunken fleets has never been fully mapped, and many wrecks remain elusive, trapped in the shifting tides and treacherous currents of the North Sea. Among the most notable discoveries are the wrecks of several German U-boats, including U-boat 88, which disappeared without a trace in 1917 during one of the war's fiercest periods. The mystery surrounding its sinking, and the many other U-boats that vanished in these cold waters, has perplexed historians for years. Some believe that undetected mines, left behind by both the Germans and the British, are to blame, while others argue that the evolution of sonar technology during the war led to deadly miscalculations, causing the U-boats to fall into traps laid by their enemies. The U-boats, which were once predatory shadows under the sea, attacking merchant ships and military convoys with deadly precision, have now become submerged mysteries. Their wrecks, found in varying states of decay, lie beneath the North Sea's surface like fossils of war. Some have been discovered upright, their hulls still resembling the formidable vessels they once were. Others have been reduced to twisted, corroded masses of metal, almost entirely consumed by the relentless passage of time. In addition to the U-boats, there are the wrecks of entire convoys, multiple vessels traveling together for protection, now lost to the deep. These convoys, often filled with supplies, soldiers, and even military secrets, met their end in the midst of fierce sea battles. The discovery of these convoys, scattered and separated by time, offers a chilling glimpse into the harrowing seafaring life during WWI. Could these wrecks tell stories of men fighting for survival, their last moments forever encased in the freezing, murky depths? Among the most compelling mysteries is the notion that some wrecks are still being uncovered. New findings, both large and small, are made with disturbing regularity. Yet there is a significant gap between the wrecks that have been officially identified and those that remain unaccounted for. Could there still be undiscovered U-boats, or even entire WWI convoy fleets that lie hidden beneath the waters, waiting to be found? What happened to the missing submarines and their crews that were lost without a trace? Was their fate sealed by some unseen force, or did they simply vanish into the cold, unforgiving sea? The mystery grows even deeper when we consider the possibility that some of these sunken vessels may hold secrets that extend far beyond the confines of naval strategy. What if some of these submarines were carrying military technology or classified documents that could have changed the course of history? The cold, turbulent waters of the North Sea may have hidden much more than just wreckage. They could contain long-forgotten artifacts, cryptic records, or historical puzzles that, if found, could rewrite what we know about WWI naval warfare. Many have speculated that certain unexplained echoes and unidentifiable sonar readings in the North Sea could be tied to these unfound wrecks, possibly hinting at lost submarines that remain undisturbed beneath the sand and silt. Some have even suggested that there could be more advanced technology buried within the depths, relics from a time when submarine warfare was still in its infancy. Could these anomalies be the remains of vessels with secret missions, or did they meet their end under mysterious and unforeseen circumstances? As technology continues to improve, modern sonar and deep-sea exploration techniques promise to reveal more about the hidden underworld of the North Sea. Yet, for all the advances in underwater exploration, these sunken convoys and submarines remain elusive, as though they are guarding something more than just their physical wreckage. The waters of the North Sea, though mapped in parts, continue to offer up new and unexplained mysteries. Why do so many wrecks remain undisturbed? Could the sea itself be concealing its darkest secrets? Or is it that, as the years pass, the passage of time slowly erases all trace of those who fought in the shadows of war? Perhaps the answers lie at the very depths of the sea, still waiting for someone to unlock them. In the end, the sunken WWI submarines and their lost convoys remain as part of a larger riddle, one where even the most advanced tools of exploration fail to provide the full story. What truly lies beneath the waves of the North Sea, and what might we still have yet to discover? For now, the answer remains as elusive as the wrecks themselves, swallowed by the vast, dark expanse of the ocean. Beneath the quiet, vast expanse of the Mediterranean Sea, one particular disappearance remains one of the most haunting and unresolved maritime mysteries of modern times. The INS Dakar, an Indian Navy submarine, vanished without a trace in January 1968, and despite numerous attempts to locate it, the truth behind its disappearance remains a subject of speculation, intrigue, and deep confusion. The Dakar, a Foxtrot-class submarine, had been a recent addition to India's naval fleet, acquired from the Soviet Union just a few years earlier. It was equipped with the latest technology for its time, including sonar systems and advanced weaponry, and was seen as a symbol of India's growing maritime strength. The submarine set sail from Haifa, Israel, after completing a series of training exercises bound for its home port in India via a routine transit. But the submarine would never reach its destination. On January 25, 1968, as the Dakar passed through the Mediterranean, radio contact was lost. The final distress signal sent from the sub was brief, unsettling, and cryptic, something about an emergency on board, followed by the complete silence of the sea. It was the last anyone would hear from the Dakar. The Indian Navy immediately launched an extensive search operation, and while initial efforts to locate the sub proved futile, the question persisted. What could have happened to the Dakar? The search continued for months, but the wreckage of the submarine was not found until 2 years later, in 1970, by a British survey ship using sonar technology. The sub was discovered at a depth of over 3,000 meters, deep beneath the surface of the Mediterranean, just off the coast of Cyprus. Its exact cause of sinking remained unclear. Was it an accident, or was there something more sinister at play? Experts, engineers, and military officials have debated various theories regarding the disaster. One of the most widely discussed possibilities is that the submarine suffered a catastrophic failure, likely involving the torpedo room or the battery compartment, which could have resulted in a massive explosion. A theory that the crew had been working on equipment failures before the final transmission lends weight to this hypothesis. Could the Dakar have encountered a structural flaw or malfunction while traveling at a deep dive, resulting in the disastrous implosion of its pressure hull? It's a possibility that military engineers are loath to entertain publicly, given the sub's relatively recent construction and the careful maintenance it had undergone. Yet, this theory does not explain the nature of the final transmission. Experts in naval communication noted that the submarine's radio signals didn't show typical patterns of distress associated with an accident or mechanical failure. Rather, the signal indicated that the Dakar had still been operational when the distress call went out, pointing to the possibility that something other than a mere technical failure was involved. Could it have been human error? In the months leading up to the disappearance, reports suggested that there had been some maintenance issues with the Dakar's communication systems, which may have resulted in miscommunication or confusion. Some believe that the crew, inexperienced with certain procedures, may have made a fatal mistake during the sub's operational procedures. If this were the case, then it would seem as though an unfortunate series of errors aligned to bring about the disaster, but it still does not explain why the submarine, after being in routine contact, suddenly fell silent. Perhaps the most chilling theory centers around the possibility of sabotage. At the time of the Dakar's disappearance, international tensions were high, and the Cold War was still in full swing. The Middle East was embroiled in political conflict, and the submarine's route took it through areas where both Eastern and Western powers had vested interests. Some theorists suggest that the Dakar's sinking was not an accident, but the result of deliberate interference, perhaps from hostile forces within the geopolitical landscape of the region. Given the naval arms race that characterized the Cold War period, the possibility of military espionage or an attack on the vessel cannot be ruled out entirely. Adding to the mystery is the political climate of the time. In 1968, the Indian Navy was growing in influence, and the Dakar represented a significant military asset for India's regional power. Was there some deeper, more politically motivated reason for its disappearance? Could the submarine have been targeted due to the delicate balance of power in the Mediterranean and the Middle East? Some still wonder whether the disappearance of the Dakar was connected to covert operations or intelligence that has never come to light. In addition to the above theories, there is also the possibility of a misidentified wreck. After the sub was found in 1970, various sonar scans and underwater searches revealed some inconsistencies with the exact positioning and condition of the wreck. Some have suggested that the wreckage discovered was not the Dakar, but rather another submarine lost in the region during the same time period. If this is true, it would call into question the accuracy of the initial recovery operation and whether the real wreckage is still undiscovered. Despite decades of inquiry and examination, the true cause of the INS Dakar's disappearance has never been definitively answered. Was it mechanical failure, human error, sabotage, or some combination of these factors? Even today, the wreck of the Dakar, located deep in the Mediterranean's cold waters, offers no new clues. As technology continues to evolve, one might wonder whether modern methods of deep-sea exploration will eventually uncover the final truths about the Dakar. With each year, our ability to peer into the ocean's depths improves, and the technology to explore these mysteries becomes ever more advanced. Will new discoveries finally reveal the true nature of this tragedy? Or will the lost submarine remain a symbol of the secrets that the ocean so often keeps hidden from us? The INS Dakar's disappearance remains one of the most perplexing maritime mysteries of the 20th century, a story still shrouded in ambiguity. Whatever the truth, the Dakar lies in its watery grave, a silent sentinel in the deep, still holding its secrets beneath the Mediterranean's timeless waves. The question remains: what really happened to the Dakar, and what truths does the sea still keep locked away? As we continue our journey through the depths of the world's oceans, we now turn our focus to a region of the Indian Ocean, a place that has long intrigued archaeologists, historians, and explorers alike: the Gulf of Cambay. Off the western coast of India, near the bustling city of Ahmedabad, a mystery lies buried beneath the murky waters, hidden from human eyes for millennia. What is most intriguing about this underwater enigma is not merely the presence of ancient ruins or the remnants of lost civilizations, but the sheer scale of what has been discovered and the questions it raises about the history of human civilization itself. In 2000, a team of researchers conducting a routine survey of the Gulf of Cambay stumbled upon something unexpected: an underwater site, nearly 40 meters below the surface, that appeared to contain large rectangular structures. These formations, initially thought to be natural formations, revealed themselves to be far too symmetrical, too organized, to be the product of natural processes. The team, led by marine archaeologist S.R. Rao, quickly identified the site as something far more significant: the remains of an ancient city, buried beneath the sea, its structures eerily similar to those of a lost, advanced civilization. The Gulf of Cambay is located in a region with a rich historical legacy, dating back thousands of years. According to some of the most well-known archaeological records, ancient coastal settlements, like those of the Indus Valley Civilization, are believed to have thrived along the riverbanks and shores of the region. But the idea of an ancient city submerged beneath the waves was something altogether new. What if this site was far older than previously believed, predating even the oldest known urban settlements in the region? The discovery was not just of structures. large rectangular blocks, paved streets, and extensive walls, but also of other artifacts, ceramic pots, statues, and tools. These findings seem to suggest a highly organized society with a grasp of engineering that was not known to exist so early in human history. However, this was not the only anomaly. Radiocarbon dating of some of the objects found at the site appeared to push the age of the city back to over 9,000 years ago, a timeline that challenges established historical models. For centuries, historians have assumed that advanced urbanization, with the complexities of cities, social structures, and monumental architecture, did not begin until around 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. The discovery of a submerged city dating back nearly 9,000 years seemed to defy everything we thought we knew about early human development. Could this be evidence of a forgotten civilization, lost to time and water? What makes this discovery even more puzzling is the apparent absence of any clear historical context. No written records, no direct connection to any known ancient civilizations, and no indication that such a city ever existed on land. How did it become submerged? And why was it left to disappear beneath the surface, forgotten by history? There are a number of theories, some more grounded in conventional science, others far more speculative, attempting to explain the mystery of the Gulf of Cambay. One of the most widely accepted theories is that the site represents a submerged port or trading hub. The region has long been known for its maritime significance, and it is believed that ancient societies may have used this area for trade. According to this hypothesis, the city's eventual submergence could be the result of a series of tectonic shifts or rising sea levels over time, slowly drowning the city underwater. However, there are still many questions regarding the specific timeline of this event. If this is the case, then why do the submerged structures show such evidence of deliberate human design? Were the inhabitants of this ancient city swept away by a natural disaster or simply abandoned? Another possibility is that the site could be part of a larger, ancient civilization that flourished along the shores of what was once an ancient river system. Over the course of thousands of years, natural forces could have eroded the land, pushing settlements farther out to sea. The river that once fed this thriving city might have shifted its course, leaving the once thriving port abandoned and eventually submerged. But again, this theory raises questions about the development of human culture. If this civilization existed so long ago, how did they attain such sophistication in architecture, urban planning, and maritime skills? In a more speculative vein, some have suggested that the Gulf of Cambay could be the location of a lost civilization, one that existed long before any of the well-known ancient cultures we have studied. Could it be that this civilization existed at the same time as, or even before, the Indus Valley civilization, with which it shares similarities? The idea that advanced civilizations might have existed long before our historical records suggest opens up a host of questions, each one as tantalizing as the last. Others take this further, suggesting that the submerged structures could be the remnants of an Atlantean civilization, with some even connecting them to the legend of Atlantis, the mythical sunken city described by Plato. While the idea of Atlantis remains a matter of myth, could it be possible that some remnants of such a culture, or at least a similar one, might have existed in the ancient world? Is the Gulf of Cambay's submerged city just another piece of the puzzle in a long-forgotten chapter of human history? The problem with many of these theories, however, is the lack of definitive evidence. While the underwater structures and artifacts are certainly intriguing, they have yet to be conclusively dated or fully analyzed. The methods used to assess their age and origins are still debated by experts, with some arguing that the radiocarbon dating results could be skewed by contamination or misinterpretation of the findings. Moreover, many of the artifacts have not been retrieved with the level of precision required to make definitive conclusions about their context and use. And so, the mystery of the Gulf of Cambay remains unsolved, lingering just below the surface, waiting for further exploration and discovery. Could this be the forgotten city of a lost civilization? Or is it simply a port, long drowned by the sea? Whatever the truth may be, the site continues to challenge our understanding of ancient human history. As with many of the world's great underwater mysteries, the Gulf of Cambay forces us to consider how much of our past remains hidden beneath the water's surface, how much more is out there waiting to be uncovered by those daring enough to seek it. As technology improves and exploration of these ancient sites continues, we may one day discover the answers, or perhaps find that some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved, hidden forever beneath the waves. As we journey deeper into the unexplained mysteries that lie beneath the surface of our planet's oceans, we now arrive at a haunting and enigmatic site located off the coast of Cuba, a place that has fascinated explorers, historians, and conspiracy theorists alike for years: the Cuban Plain Graveyard. Not far from the island's northern shore, beneath the Caribbean Sea, a series of submerged aircraft are scattered across the ocean floor, their origins and purpose remaining a mystery. The graveyard, as it's often called, holds the remnants of planes lost to time and the sea, each with its own story that has yet to be fully told. The discovery of these submerged planes occurred in the mid-2000s, when a team of ocean explorers and scientists stumbled upon what appeared to be a field of disintegrating aircraft resting on the ocean bed at depths of around 70 meters, 230 feet. The planes were eerily intact, with wings and engines still visible, although they had clearly been submerged for decades. But the real mystery lies not in the wreckage itself, but in the circumstances surrounding these planes' final resting place. The majority of the aircraft discovered in this submerged graveyard belong to the World War II era, and their condition suggests they've been lying in the sea for nearly 70 years. But how did these planes come to rest so far from their expected location? Were they military aircraft that fell into the sea during a covert operation, or perhaps civilian planes lost in a forgotten conflict? The absence of clear historical documentation regarding their loss has kept many questions unanswered. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Cuban Plain Graveyard is the number of aircraft, not just a few, but dozens, spread across a wide area. The wreckage includes fighter planes, bombers, and even transport planes, all appearing to have been lost under strange and inexplicable circumstances. To make matters more puzzling, there is no known record of a major air battle or significant crash near this location during or after World War II. So why and how did these planes end up in the Caribbean? Some historians have suggested that the wreckage could be the result of training exercises gone awry, or perhaps a disastrous mid-air collision during a flight exercise. Others have proposed that the planes may have been part of a covert military operation, one that was classified for many decades. Could it be that these planes were involved in an early Cold War skirmish, or were they part of a hidden mission by one of the warring factions at the time? Yet the absence of solid evidence linking the crash sites to any known operations or missions adds to the mystery. If these planes were part of a well-known military campaign, there should have been some sort of historical trace, some record of their disappearance. Instead, the aircraft appear to be completely unaccounted for in official histories. One possible explanation that has been proposed relates to Cuba's role during the Cold War. As tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union escalated, Cuba found itself caught in the middle of the ideological struggle. The island nation became a focal point for covert operations, with the CIA, the KGB, and other intelligence agencies involved in espionage, surveillance, and proxy warfare. Could these planes have been part of a secret operation, perhaps one that went awry, leading to their crash into the sea? Were they the victims of a failed airlift, or perhaps shot down during an undocumented mission. Another theory, which ventures into the realm of the speculative, suggests that the planes could be remnants of unknown encounters between military aircraft from opposing nations, one that was deliberately erased from historical records. In this scenario, the submerged planes could represent a long-hidden chapter of Cold War history, one that governments on both sides chose to keep classified. There are also those who have wondered whether the planes could be remnants of a secret military project, perhaps an attempt to develop new technologies or weaponry that was buried in the aftermath of the war. Could the aircraft have been abandoned intentionally to cover up a failed experiment, or perhaps to keep valuable technology from falling into the wrong hands? The location of the wreckage, off the coast of Cuba, has led some to draw comparisons to other mysterious underwater sites linked to hidden operations during the Cold War. Cuba, located just 90 miles from the United States, was often at the heart of Cold War intrigue. Whether in the form of military missions, covert operations, or espionage, the island served as a theater for many secret activities during the 20th century. Could these submerged planes be part of a larger, untold story that involves a clandestine struggle between world powers? Or were they merely victims of a forgotten tragedy, swept under the waves and left to rest in an ocean of mystery? However, some have also suggested a more supernatural angle to this riddle. Could the planes have been victims of some sort of unexplained phenomenon? With the strange and mysterious history of the Caribbean Sea, where legends of disappearances and unexplainable events have long persisted, could there be an unknown natural or cosmic force that caused these aircraft to fall from the sky? While there is little evidence to support this theory, it does add another layer of intrigue to the story. One of the most unsettling aspects of the Cuban plane graveyard is the silence surrounding the site. Despite its discovery nearly 2 decades ago, little is known about the full extent of the wreckage, and the Cuban government has shown little interest in pursuing any further research into the site. Why has this site been so ignored by the authorities? Is it simply because the wreckage does not fit neatly into the official narrative of history? Or is there a reason why the Cuban government has chosen to keep this eerie site under wraps? What remains clear is that the Cuban plane graveyard continues to perplex both experts and enthusiasts alike. Despite years of exploration and analysis, the plane's exact origins and their final watery resting place remain a mystery. Were these aircraft the result of an untold military operation? Or perhaps they are the ghosts of a forgotten tragedy, lost to history and buried beneath the waves. The Cuban plane graveyard is a testament to the ocean's ability to keep secrets, even in the age of technology and exploration. As we dive deeper into the mysterious wreckage, we are reminded that some questions may never be answered, and some stories may forever remain submerged. How much of our world's history is still hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered? How many more mysteries lie in the silent depths of the sea, untouched and undisturbed, waiting for the right questions to be asked? Only time, and perhaps more exploration, will reveal the answers.